Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
What's Galentine's Day? Oh, it's only the best day of the year. Every February 13th, my lady friends and I leave our husbands and our boyfriends at home, and we just come and kick it breakfast style. Ladies celebrating ladies. It's like Lilith Fair, minus the angst. Plus frittatas.
Yes, happy Galentine's Day, whatever that means. And we welcome your ass to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. So tonight's the night that all the gals get together and trash talk their dudes. Trash talk their boyfriends and husbands. And then tomorrow on Valentine's Day, those same gals get together with their boyfriends and husbands and act like nothing ever happened. It's all very shady and dishonest.
That's girl code.
Totally.
My wife got a jump start on it. Her Galentine's Day was last night, so she's all Galentine's out at this point. So then I'm sure the trash talking was pretty immense. My private parts probably came up in the disappointing shape and everything that it's not able to do for her, that kind of thing.
You don't think they really talk about your privates?
I would hope not, but I always assume. It's better to assume that than to be shocked when I find out it happens.
Once you're together for a while, that's kind of off limits.
So it's more early on in a relationship?
Yeah.
Your privates get talked about?
Absolutely.
Well, so then she brought it up years ago, Josh.
So I'm off the hook?
Yeah, you should be.
Your
Well,
privates are old news, Josh.
What about for guys? Can I talk about her gross privates, or do I have to keep that to myself?
Is there a
No,
time
that's for
limit on
you.
that?
That's for you and only you.
Josh, I'm sure, they covered... Your wife covered that subject years ago, and her friends have forgotten all about it. When we dudes get together with our best bros, we have no complaints about our women. But you women,
All right.
you gals have dedicated a night to it tonight.
I got to say, I have a couple friends where if they're not complaining about their wives, they're not talking.
Oh, really? Is that
Yeah, you
bad?
question if they're still breathing.
Yeah, you wonder, like, can you say anything positive? And I think there's one in particular where he sets it up and he's hoping other people will join in and say, oh, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I hate my
does."
wife, too, yeah.
And that does not happen, and I can tell it drives him nuts. And so it makes him say more stuff in hopes that, okay, maybe if I throw this out there, somebody else will complain about their
Or I
wives.
got a few bros where I've learned way too much about their relationship and every aspect of it. I've learned way too much. Just because they have to get it off their chest. They're that type. You know, those types are out there where they have to get everything out, every complaint, every happy or negative thing. And so you learn way too much.
That just sounds miserable to hear.
I hate being around those kind of guys.
It's a hell of a lot of fun 9 times
really?
out of 10. Oh, yeah. But that's me, Dana. You know that. You know
I don't like it.
I love other people's miseries
You do.
and other
That is
people's
true.
problems. So when I have a friend who's just crying up and down about his wife, I'm having a pretty good time.
There's this particular guy I was telling you about. There was a moment, probably my favorite moment of all time with him, where he was complaining about. We were neighbors, and he was complaining about her. I mean, and really, this one was more so than had ever happened before. And we're standing on my front step, and he completely forgot, as did I, that I have a camera there that was recording everything. And once it dawned on him, he's like, is there any way you can just delete that footage? I'm like, no, I can't.
What did he say?
Blackmail, baby.
About his wife?
Yeah.
I mean, anything you can imagine about how, how bitchy she was, about how she disappoints him, how he can't do anything right.
Just everything.
Yeah, I mean, this one was one of his worst rants, and it was all on camera.
How is their relationship now? Do you know?
They're divorced.
That's probably for the best.
Is that a true story?
Yes.
They split up?
Yeah, they did.
Well, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna. So, I usually enjoy hearing all that drama and relationship chaos. That's just the way I'm wired. I'm okay with that because a lot of it can be fun. A lot of it can be fun hearing someone just go on and on about how much they... God, I had a thought about relationships and I lost it, but we'll get back to it. If, in fact, Galentine's Day means something to you, by damn, I hope you go out and have a great one.
Plenty of places are hosting various events. I mean, we even have one until 10 a.m. today, correct, Ashley?
Yes, until 10 a.m. today, you can submit your wildest and craziest Valentine stories on 93x.com for a chance to win a tennis bracelet from Landmark Jewelers. And it's valued at over $5,000.
Do you have to play tennis if you win the bracelet?
No. It was actually so cute, Dana. Obviously, my fiance has no idea what a tennis bracelet is.
Same here.
He was asking me, and I was like, no, it's just a fancy little diamond bracelet. And he's like, but why is it a tennis bracelet? I have no answer for you.
You know what, Tumbling? That the radio station is giving away something nicer than I've ever given my wife. How many carats did you say this is?
I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, here, I got it right.
I think it's around 3.5.
Yeah, 3.14 carats. That is like, I don't know, 2.5 carats better than I was able to afford for my wife's wedding ring.
It's more carrots than I've eaten in my entire life, too.
Gorgeous.
You've seen it?
No, I know it has to be if it's that many. But I could never wear something like that because I'm too abrasive with my movements. Like, I'm not a very elegant woman. And so I know that I would catch it on something and it would be lost forever.
And you punch a lot of people.
Exactly.
You are clumsy.
Yeah.
It's a terrific prize. Ladies, go ahead and send in those Valentine's Day stories as quick as you can because we got to shut down the contest at one point or another. I think Ashley said 10 a.m. this morning, so get the hell to it. There was a fun development yesterday as Josh and I were leaving the parking lot. First off, it was so damn cold that we skipped our goodbye kiss.
We had to.
Your lips were frozen together, probably.
Well, my nose was running a little bit, and I found out back in 1989 that kissing with a runny nose is a great way to get mono. Gross. So we skipped our goodbye kiss and got into our vehicles. And as Josh was pulling out of the parking lot, I always let him go first. As Josh was pulling out of the parking lot and I watched him go by, and I could hear the music bumping, inside his pickup. And warm it up, Chris. I'm about to. Warm it up, Chris. That's what I was born to do. You always listen to Crisscross when you leave the...
Sometimes Nelson, like After the Rain or Love and Affection.
Nelson. So, first off, he's got the music bumping. He pulls on out the lot. And at first, I thought I was seeing things. I really did. I thought my lack of sleep had caused me to hallucinate. But I noticed that someone had vandalized Cubby vehicle. And, I mean, my heart sank. Oh, no. And it was for real. Etched into the salt on the side of Josh's ride, very clearly I see a giant letter U followed by the letters S-U-C-K.
Do you guys know what that spells?
Oh, man.
You suck.
And I had to pull over.
You suck.
I had to pull over in order to call you, didn't I, Josh?
You did, yeah.
And I said, I don't know. I'm not 100% on this. But I believe that someone has written the words "you suck" on the side of your pickup.
That's painful.
And so you said you checked yours, right, to see if it happened here?
Oh, also, that's why I pulled over to check my own, and no one had written anything foul on my motor vehicle.
So you told me it was on the driver's side. So
did I? I'm sorry.
And I get out, and I don't see it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why don't I see it? So I took some snow, and I threw it up on the car, thinking, well, maybe then I'll get an outline of the you suck. Never saw it. So then I thought, maybe he just misspoke.
I did.
So I walked around the other side, and my goodness, clear as day, The whole side of my pickup says, "You suck."
Now, I want to be clear here. It wasn't scratched in. It wasn't drawn or spray painted. They just used the salt on your vehicle as a base.
Yep. They wiped away, so it's just, the color of the vehicle comes through.
Right.
And so thank you for the micro abrasions that now are forever going to say, "You suck."
Who were you thanking for that?
It turns out it was your godson.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling, and I was trying to think, I'm like, I don't go anywhere. So where would this, it must have happened either at work or at home. And I figured one of the kids did it because my older kids were over the other day. And so I was driving around with this for 2 days.
Dude, everybody thinks you suck, man.
They confirmed it.
That guy must suck. It says it right there, clear as day.
Yeah, they knew it. They
went
knew it
out
already.
The young people went out to the garage to smoke a cigarette or something, and they vandalized your pickup.
Yeah, they did. And I had texted my son and said, "Was this you?" And he just wrote back, "Yup," with the crying on the sideways crying laughing emoji.
I think this kid needs to get smacked.
Well, they all do one way or another.
Why would he
so
do
fun.
that to his father?
I don't know, but he said, he said that, you've been driving around with that for 2 days. I did it 2 days ago.
Well, yeah, but how often does somebody look at the passenger side of their vehicle unless they're pumping gas?
Never.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
I thought
You
I
got
was
me
going
pretty
nuts,
good.
man. I thought it was just some kind of an illusion.
I was hoping you were going nuts. And so it's funny is you had said it was the driver's side, so I'm thinking, how can I position my vehicle on the way home where the least amount of people see this? Because they're going to say that guy must suck.
At least it wasn't genitalia.
Yeah, true. It could have been worse.
He could have cursed.
Yep. And I'd asked because then there was other parts that were kind of, the paint was coming through. So I thought maybe he wrote something else as well, but he said it was just the "you suck."
Well, you got to get revenge for this.
Yeah, I'll figure out something.
Yeah, we should vandalize his car.
He doesn't have one yet.
Yeah, that's true.
We were talking off air about his youth basketball club. You go watch him play youth basketball. I'm going to just take a guess that 7th, 8th grade basketball doesn't draw the biggest crowds in town, right?
No, I mean, it's just a handful of parents. And it's at a dumb time of day. It's 3:45, so, it's
3:45.
What?
tough to get to.
So, perfect. If there was a massive crowd, maybe this bit wouldn't work. But with only a handful of parents there to watch subpar basketball, it'd be great. You could get revenge as soon as your kid gets the ball next game and he's dribbling the ball up the court. In that dead quiet, you holler out, "That kid masturbates."
Oh, that would hurt him so much.
What do you think about that?
Nowadays, I wonder if that would even mean anything. These kids are so open about stuff.
He might get a round of applause.
They talk trash. But so he's on the B team, and the A team and B team travel together. So there would be a whole A team watching that, and I'm sure that they'd probably give him a little bit of crap.
"Hey, poop pants, you going to do anything with that basketball?" And then everyone says, "What's he talking about?" And then you clear it up by saying, "When he was little, he used to poop his pants."
I did scream out once, "Hey, Mommy and Daddy are here," and that he wasn't pleased with that.
I like that.
That bothered him quite a bit.
Well, that was a hell of a deal.
Yeah, that was pretty
watching
funny.
Josh drive out of the lot, and it says in bold print, "You suck" on the side of his friggin' pickup.
If it wasn't for you, I wonder how long I would have
Jeez.
been driving around with that. Because honestly, I mean, like during the work week, I come here and I go home. I don't go, his basketball, right? That's twice a week. So outside of that, I don't go anywhere. So I thought, maybe it was Monday he had a game. So that maybe on Monday somebody did that.
Well, that is disrespectful, and revenge will be yours, without question.
I'm sure I'll get him. I'll embarrass him in some way.
Well, let it ride for a couple of years if you want. He'll forget all about it.
I do like the long game.
Yeah, long game will work. I mean, like I said earlier, at least it wasn't genitalia.
Which surprises me.
Right,
knowing the
being a
culprit.
7th, 8th grade kid. We got a buddy of ours with a similar bit. We spent the weekend at what do they call it out there in Cadott, Wisconsin? Rock and roll party?
Rockfest.
Rockfest. We went out to Cadott for Rockfest, so you're camping in a dust bowl for 3 days. And one of our buddies, he's one of these early riser dumbasses. where, Sunday when it's time to leave the campground, he's up at 6 a.m. So he went to bed early on our final night there at Rockfest. He went to bed early, and while he was asleep, knowing he was going to wake up at the crack of dawn to drive home, and knowing that his pickup was just like everyone else's vehicle, covered in an inch of dirt and dust, we drew male genitalia on every inch of his pickup. Large ones on the side, small ones on the back window, and we figured he would wake up and see it and then have to waste time, washing his vehicle before he left and use a T-shirt to wipe it. He never noticed it. So he drove all the way from Cadott, Wisconsin to the Twin Cities with all different shapes and sizes of male genitalia on his motor vehicle. And he was pissed, and it was a great bit.
That is so fun. Josh showed me the picture of his son writing "you suck" on the side of his car. It's huge. It's a lot bigger than you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you're thinking, it's bigger.
Oh, my God.
I can't believe I didn't notice it. Shotgun Matthias Jesus. He texted in and said the funniest one he's ever seen was, "I wish my wife was this dirty."
Oh, that's great. It reminds me of the time me and Dana used to live close to each other, and me and my fiance were driving back to my place, and we saw a car that we could have sworn 100% that's Dana's vehicle. And so he got out and he drew a big penis on it.
Oh.
In the dirt, snow, whatever it was.
Right.
And the next day, Dana was like, "No, that wasn't mine. I wasn't there at that time."
You drew a dong on a random car.
Yep.
There's a few
still
Dana
feel bad.
cars going around because Dana, he visits his folks in Egan every once in a while. And the other day, I text Dana, you remember this? I asked if you were in Egan because I thought I saw his car, and I had the same idea, Ashley. That's why I text to ask. Oh, this
Smart.
is great from Texas Concrete Jesus. He made a huge dong on the hood of his brother's car with painter's tape. His brother drove around with it for at least 2 days. Check the text messages. You got to see this thing.
Text messages?
Yeah. How did he not from Texas Concrete Jesus? How do you miss that?
That's a full hood of dong there.
I don't know. I think I could.
You get in the zone, I guess.
I'm that inattentive. That's great. That is one dangerous-looking penis and balls that was created on the hood of that car.
HVAC/R and stuff, Jesus said he once took a guy's to-go cup that you get from a fast food restaurant, and on the lid where you put the straw, he drew a nut sack. So, when he's going to take a drink, you know what that looks like.
Perfect.
Hey, Cubby, our guests in studio later will be members of the Bloomington Police Department. Now, Josh, our law enforcement liaison around here, can you tell us again what the Bloomington cops want to rap about?
Well, yes, absolutely. First and foremost, cops, heroes. And then there's the Bloomington Police Department. And that's who we're having in today. Their chief, Booker Hodges, is hilarious. And he's nationally recognized for being funny, kind of like a Grady Judd out of Florida.
You guys just love that Grady Judd. You can't get enough of him.
Booker Hodges is better. He's better.
He's better.
Oh, yeah. He's much better. Tough on crime, really funny guy, kind of snarky, and he's great. Just has an attitude like, F you, we're going to police, right?
Right.
So anyways, they're getting a lot of good response online about a few things they've done. One is they have a ticket or no ticket where they show the first half of somebody getting pulled over, meaning they say, okay, this guy blew a red light.
Right.
They go pull him over. You hear the conversation between the officer and the person driving. And then they say, all right, here's the rule of law. What would you do in this situation? They ask people to comment on Facebook. They show the second half and then kind of explain it. So it's kind of a cool way to figure out what they do each day, how they make their decisions.
Learning experience.
And then they made a funny Valentine's Day video, which also has been kind of going around.
Okay. All right, so three members of the Bloomington PD are going to swing by and rap with us a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be nice having those guys in.
I like the Valentine's Day bit. I was just watching a TV show yesterday. It's called Rookie. It's a very good TV show if you like cop shows. And they did the same thing where you can, I guess, essentially snitch on your ex or your partner that has made you mad on Valentine's Day.
That's what this is. And the Rookie... there's a kid, this family moved to our neighborhood a couple of years ago, and one of the kids loves Rookie, right? He's a 13-year-old boy.
Cute.
This is a well-known television program.
I hadn't heard of it until this kid.
Kid loves it.
And so, the neighborhood kids would be over to play, and they're all doing whatever, running around playing football, something like that. But he would sit in our living room and watch Rookie, like binge watch Rookie.
Did he not have Hulu at home?
I don't know. And I would ask him,
house?
hey, don't you want to go hang out with the other kids? And he was watching Rookie. That was his thing. He's obsessed with it.
Cute.
And it doesn't seem like a show a 13-year-old would like at all.
No, definitely not.
He's a future cop.
Possibly. All right, long game. This text says, play the long game. I once told my brother I was going to slap him the next time I saw him. I didn't see him for 5 years, but when I did, first thing I did was slap him.
That's great.
That's awesome.
We have made some people paranoid with our conversation about, vandalism's a strong word, but, pranking your friends by drawing something inappropriate on their motor vehicle when they're not looking. We're making some people paranoid. There's this Peterbilt Jesus who texted in and said, great, now I'm going to spend the next week walking around my truck in the freezing cold looking for random dicks. Sorry, dude. Yeah,
maybe this is a good public service.
Yeah, it'll play with you a little bit. But that was fun yesterday, Josh. I felt sympathy for you, but also quite funny.
On my way home, I'm thinking, oh, no. Who thinks I suck? And also, how bad is this thing? I almost pulled over, and I thought, I'll wait till I get home.
That's part of the reason why I felt bad for you, is I know that even a little joke like that, you're going to question the legitimacy of it.
Well, I was wondering, did I cut someone off and not realize it? That I haven't been in a driving altercation.
They followed you and wrote that on your car. That would be insane.
What you gonna do? And that friggin' kid, though, he needs to get straightened out.
Well, it says you suck, so maybe somebody saw it and thought, hey, that guy thinks I suck. Because they read you suck.
Oh, that's true.
And maybe they thought, hey, this guy thinks I suck. What did I do to that guy?
Oh, that's deep thinking right there.
I'm lost. I didn't say anything, and I feel stupid. Did everyone get that but me?
I got it.
Oh, no.
I think I understood.
I'm the dumb one. You should have wrote, you're dumb.
I'm dumb.
There you friggin' go. What else is going on around here? Did I miss anything?
I think that is everything.
Galentine's Day.
You suck.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Oh, it's going to be a big one for some of you.
I'm going to that Eagles parade.
You're doing what?
I'm flying out to Philadelphia. I want to be a part of that Eagles parade.
Oh, wow. Have fun.
See what goes on.
Oh, yeah, that is tomorrow, isn't it? There will be no survivors.
Oh, it's going to be trouble. I mean, it's a weekend. There's going to be extra trouble, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, falling on a Friday.
Yeah, that was stupid. They should have done it on a work day.
Sunday morning.
Did it on a Wednesday.
All right, we'll get going again. You're a terrific crowd. We'll be rapping later with Randy Shaver, and like we were telling you, the Bloomington Police Department stopping by. This is probably the first time the Bloomington PD has stopped by to talk with us, so we'll get a chance to meet some of these folks.
The last time we had an interaction with them on the air was we did that the cops versus idiot DJs, the paintball tournament. Remember that?
Oh, my God. That's got to be 20 years ago.
Oh, at least.
Fun.
25 years ago.
Yeah, at least. And so.
That was Bloomington.
Bloomington and Anoka. So
right.
SWAT teams.
Right.
So we
that
decided.
Would be miserable.
Let's
Get your
take on.
asses kicked.
Oh, dude. Within seconds.
That is so cool.
Wouldn't even be fun. I would just get mad.
No, so the two SWAT teams took each other on, and it was the Anoka SWAT team that we took on.
Yeah.
They eliminated, I'm going to guess, 8 seconds. They took out 8 of us. There was one point where, there's a woman that we worked with. She got taken down immediately, and I kind of laughed, and all of a sudden I looked down, and somebody shot me in the leg, and I'm like, oh no, and then they got me at the top of the head. That wasn't as I looked down.
Just like in the movies.
Yeah.
You look down to see, oh, did I get shot? And then when you look up and find where it came from, it hit you right between the eyes.
Yeah, don't take on the Anoka SWAT team.
Well, yeah, that was over very quickly when we had a paintball battle.
No way that went over 15 seconds.
No.
Did you guys even fire any paint?
Didn't get one shot off.
Also, they put us in this tiny little room. I remember when they asked us to play paintball, being totally unfamiliar with paintball in general, I figured they were going to put us out in the woods somewhere. So I pictured myself playing John Rambo and hanging from a tree branch and what.
Yeah,
but
there are some places
they just
that do
put us
that.
in this tiny little office building.
Yeah, you guys were playing speedball.
There's like 30 people in a room, like a closet.
Oh,
well,
lame.
Christ, we have no chance.
I was so excited. I couldn't wait. I thought this was going to be so fun. And I bet they were more disappointed than anybody because maybe there was some pride there. I'm sure a little bit of that. But we didn't put up a fight.
They knew that we weren't going to put up much of a fight, especially, like I said, when they put us in a phone booth. Okay, where are we supposed to go? Where are we supposed to hide here? But they were quite accurate and lethal. And, wow, that's a long time ago. I haven't thought about that in years. So the last
My head still hurts.
Yeah, they got you right in the brain. We'll take a quick break and come back here. We'll start off with the stupid news next on the program.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Wealth building expert Candy Valentino paves the path to success.
I'm sorry, you're a human with a heart and lungs. There's no price tag that you can put on a service that you offer. And everyone that I know, every entrepreneur, they all have one common goal. You want to strive to be like the Ritz-Carlton of your industry. Do the work, take the time to really understand and master these things. It's really essential to your path for success.
The Candy Valentino Show. Time to invest in your future. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, we were having a conversation about pranking our friends and or family. Josh got pranked by his own ungrateful son the other day. His son, more importantly, my godson, etched the words, "You suck," into the salt on the side of Cubby's pickup when he wasn't looking. And you drove around for a day with "You suck" in bold letters on the side of your whip.
At least 2 days.
Hurtful stuff. I noticed it yesterday as Josh was pulling out the parking lot here after work. So on the topic of lighthearted pranks, here are a couple of texts from our dedicated and wonderful listeners. One feller here texted in to say that they glued a dildo to the back bumper of their pal's pickup, and he went all the way home with it and then all the way back to work the following day before he noticed it. Dildo swinging on the back of that. What is this now? See, this is fun because it can be easily corrected. Living in a house full of young fellas, one dude leaves out of town for a week, and the rest of them painted a bunch of small penises all over the walls of his bedroom.
Oh, no. That is so fun.
I mean, that's fine if you did that to me someday, but you better be there the next day with a paint crew to correct that. But I see the humor in it.
We were at, my daughter had a softball tournament in Brainerd many years ago, and one of her coaches, as we're all leaving at the same time, coming back to the cities, and one of the coaches, the kids had written in the back, "Honk if you like sex." And he drove from Brainerd back. And, people were honking. A lot of us were parents honking. And he's looking around like, what the hell? And I wish I was there.
I'm the most popular coach on the road this morning.
Everybody's so excited to see me. They're
right.
Thumbs up and smiles.
Honk if you like sex.
Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, having nothing to do with pranks, I just wanted to say hello to a listener who texted in. They said, good morning, half-ass morning show. Checking in from Chisago Lake out ice fishing this morning.
Oh, it's a cold one.
Chisago City, beautiful, beautiful town. It's just in the wrong spot.
It's so far.
It's north of 694 and east of 35. I don't trust those people. Right town. So I'd say about Chisago Lakes. Right town, wrong area. Stillwater has the same problem. Great town, but what the hell is it doing way over there?
It is so far over there.
Why is it so tough to get to? I do like Stillwater when you're there. You're right.
There's so much to do. So many candy stores.
We've been intoxicated down there quite often with our annual booze cruise. Not as much anymore, but back in the day. Although, Dana, you were the most wasted I've ever seen anybody.
That was awesome.
And the best was you denying it the entire time. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Your brain was in outer space that day.
Your eyes give it away pretty easily.
Do they?
Always the
Yep.
eyes.
And you don't say a word. You just kind of stand there, and it's very creepy. Just look around.
You are
Why is
one
this
of
guy
those-
lingering?
Dude, you totally are one of those quiet drunks where you're kind of worried when you're being around you. You're like, what's he gonna do?
Is he up to something?
Yeah.
Is he planning? Is he motivated? No, he's just gone.
Very sus.
It's like a doll's eyes. She's got lifeless eyes.
One of the first times we met you, you had come over to my house. We had that little barbecue deal, and we realized you were drunk because you weren't saying it. You just sat there.
Well, I was also very nervous because I had never met Ashley. I had never met your wife, Josh, and I was still kind of new to the station, so I was very nervous.
Oh, that's what it was? Is that why you got as drunk as you got?
Well, I was at a different barbecue beforehand.
Ah.
Did some pre-gaming, heck yeah.
All right, right here from the get-go for today's stupid news report. I don't want to start off angry. Well, that actually might be a lie. I admit that sometimes I do enjoy getting pissed. But anyway, we're obviously dealing with a couple of diarrhea bag human beings right here. And this does make me really effing angry. And if you're of sound mind, you'll be angry too. A couple of English cops are likely going to lose their jobs for the way they've been behaving with their coworkers. The two little boys disguised as grown men have been accused of, among other things, farting in a female officer's face. So, I mean, you know the type, giant 4-year-olds whose brains never fully developed. Somehow both of them became cops. The absolute losers in question here go by the names of Wayne Sampson and Ben Jeffries. It says here between the years of 2020 and 2023, they've both been acting like little pin-dick children. Their co-workers are saying that Jeffries has made multiple inappropriate comments that were motivated by race and sexuality. Jeffries was also accused of taking an inappropriate picture of himself and then sending it to a female co-worker's cell phone. Classic narcissistic douchebag stuff right there, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, I don't... You know, fart humor when I was younger. I mean, if somebody farted in my face when I was younger, even back then, I wouldn't have found that too funny.
No, it's not funny.
And then in a girl's face, come on.
Yeah. So he's sending, I think we can read between the lines. He's sending D-pics to a female coworker's phone, and he allegedly, quote, broke wind in her face.
I think, Ashley, you'd stab him in the beehole with a pencil.
Absolutely. Well, she's an officer, so she has a gun on her, right?
Yeah. Oh, you'd go more lethal.
Yeah.
She's going all the way with this one.
Shoot the guy dead. Shoot the guy right in the brown star. I'm not a psychiatrist by any stretch, but this is also easy to figure out. These guys never matured beyond 4th grade. And if you remember, when we were 4th graders, guys, if we liked a girl, but she either rejected us or we weren't confident enough to tell her how we felt, what did we do?
Picked on her.
We would do whatever we had to do to hurt or embarrass the girl.
What the heck, guys? What's up with that?
Well, when we're little kids?
It's just so mean.
Well,
It
yeah,
never worked either.
We're the stupidest creatures on planet Earth. A fourth grade boy is the stupidest creature on planet Earth.
The amount of times that I came home complaining about a boy doing something and my mom would be like, oh, that just means he likes you. I don't care. I want him to stop.
Yeah. That's how, we weren't built to handle rejection. And some guys stay this way until the day that they die. Obviously, look at what we're talking about. Dude, my guess is he had a crush on this female cop. Maybe she rejected him. So what's he do? Send her a dong pic and then fart in her face?
Yeah, he has no idea how to interact with women, much less anybody else.
No.
I do remember what you're saying. So in third grade, if we liked a girl, we would put worms down the backs of their shirts. For whatever reason, we thought,
right.
Oh, they're really going to be impressed by this.
Notice me, notice me, notice me, even if it's negative. Right.
Yeah. HVAC/R and stuff, Jesus said, Ashley, if you were shooting a guy in the butt, you could angle the pistol just right so you could get him in the b-hole and the penis at the same time.
Oh.
That's a skill.
How in the hell is she gonna hit the b-hole and the penis at the same?
You can angle it. Just put it maybe at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, I see.
Let me demonstrate.
I'm picturing the shot coming from behind.
Yeah,
I'm still not able to
keep in
figure
mind, his butt is hovering over your face. So you reach up, angle it like this, and butthole penis, bang.
Man.
Little double tap.
He has no perineum anymore.
Goodbye, taint.
So I guarantee that's what's happening with this face farting episode. Dude's brain is still stuck in fourth grade. So both of these prickbag effing cops are up against some kind of hearing for their behavior. And they'll likely get canned.
Yeah, that's a fireable offense, I think. I'd imagine. Go ahead, sir.
When I first started going to college, for some reason, I wanted to be a police officer. That's before everything, was awful for police officers.
I had never heard that before.
No, I don't think you ever told us before that you had dreams of maybe being a law enforcement officer.
Yep, and I took a couple classes, obviously, that was geared towards that, and everybody in my classes wanted to be police officers as well. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to be anymore is because the majority of one of the classes where everybody wanted to be cops, the guys were just insufferable. There's maybe 5 people in that class who I would trust with my life in the future, but the majority of them were these kind of guys. And I was
Hard in the face type of guys?
Yeah, and I thought, no, I don't.
Just hard-ons.
I don't want to work with any of you ever.
The majority of them are just hard-ons.
Hopefully those ones didn't make it, and like I said, the 5 or 6 good ones did, but...
Think about your funniest friends. Are any of them fart in your face type people? They're probably not, because they can be funny without that.
Yeah,
this is probably these guys, their only method to hopefully their only methane to hopefully get a laugh.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you wanted to be a cop, huh? What's that
How come
line?
you never told us that before?
It was short-lived, I guess, a little under a year. And then I was thinking the DNR route, and then everything changed, and I was like, hey, actually, let's do science. Complete 180.
I knew a couple guys who wanted to be cops when we were young, and then they started rapping. Rapping isn't the word. They started snatching up DUIs and disorderly conducts every weekend, and they had to come up with another plan. What's that line from? What the hell's that cop movie with those English guys?
Hot Fuzz?
Hot Fuzz. I love that line from Hot Fuzz where one cop says to the other, "How long have you been a policeman?" And the second cop says, "Officer." And the first cop says, "How long have you been a policeman, officer?"
I haven't seen that. I thought you didn't like that, or maybe I'm
didn't.
mistaken.
The first time I saw it, I thought, what just happened? This was so English and so dumb that I was pissed off because
Did you like Shaun of the Dead?
Yes,
okay,
that's why I went ahead with Hot Fuzz.
I loved that.
Because of how much I loved Shaun of the Dead. But it had a Will Ferrell effect on me. The first time I saw Hot Fuzz, I thought it was garbage. I gave it another shot, and I friggin' loved it.
I'll have to watch it. I'll plan to watch it twice, just to make sure. Like you said, Will Ferrell, outside of Old School, everything of his, I've had to watch 2 times to get it.
If for no other reason, Josh, you watch Hot Fuzz for the greater good.
The greater good. Is that where that's from?
Yeah.
Oh. I never knew the origin.
Maybe you had to be there, but there's another scene in the movie that gets me every time where the skinnier of the 2 funny Englishmen, what's his name? Nick Boner Party.
Yeah.
Huh?
Simon Pegg?
Simon Pegg.
I don't think it was Boner Party.
And the other one is Nick Frost. Is that correct?
Yes. Something Frost. That sounds right.
Simon Pegg is
Nick Frost.
Simon Pegg is the hero cop. And he has this showdown with this old lady in the street who wants to kill him. And she says, "Fascist," and takes a shot at him. She misses. He shoots her, and he says, "Hag." Just yesterday, we were rapping about all the different ways to get a day off in the modern world. Legitimately, that is. Sick days, mental health days, new day, maternity days, personal days. There's even a possibility that companies might start offering something called a sex day. This is something we covered yesterday, where you apparently take a day to focus on your sexual health, whatever the hell that means. Jesus, by the time we finally retire, Josh, working for a living is going to be a friggin' grade school cakewalk.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, some of these days, I don't think they'll ever happen around here, but one could hope.
Now, the Japanese always seem to be a step ahead of us when it comes to fun gimmicks like this. I mean, Christ, they've been selling panties and vending machines for decades. We here in the States, we can send a man to the moon, but I challenge you to find me one vending machine around here where I can buy a set of used women's drawers. See what I mean? The Japanese are always a step ahead.
Do they have let's go use like a sex store? Do they have a vending machine with various vibrators and whatnot? I could see that happening.
I believe, Josh, I believe there is. It's been a while for me as well since I walked into the sex shop.
Or a claw machine. That might be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
It's been so long, but I don't think you're that far off. I thought maybe I saw a vending machine where you can get some. Well, I mean, I think at the very least you could get rubbers out of there.
But instead of a claw, it's like a hand. And to get something, you have to bring the hand up, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down, that kind of thing.
In a manner that both of you become accustomed to.
The whimsy. Imagine that.
Right. So what were we talking about? Days off and the Japanese. So get ready to be jealous. A Japanese tech company is how they say it. A Japanese tech company has upped and decided that their workers are allowed to drink on the job, and they offer hangover days off.
It's kind of like we were saying yesterday. The tech companies seem to have more of these wild ideas. But I'm a little surprised because in Japan, you always hear how people are so burned out because their work ethic is insane. They're working more hours in a week somehow than exist in a week, that kind of thing. All the pressure.
They're really whooping ass over there, working their nuts off. So again, you are allowed to drink on the job at this one company, and they offer hangover days off. Hell, around here, there's only one day a week where we get to drink, and that's on Saturdays.
Yeah, I mean, some people have tried to stop that. What do we call them?
Flatliners.
Yeah, they're flatliners.
Willie, the supervisor, and a guy in our mailroom by the name of Blade made that possible, where we get to drink on Saturdays. Willie, the supervisor, has only one rule. What's his rule, Josh? Don't be talking what?
Trash.
Don't be talking trash.
Okay, a few people are saying there's various bars that have dildo claw machines. Porn DVDs.
Oh, okay, I have seen that. Claw machine reaches down and grabs you I'm sure, completely unwatchable porno movie. They're not going to throw.
Bad,
and
yeah.
what are you going to throw into the claw machine? The one that won 6 or 7 AVN awards? No.
Nah.
It's going to be something that no one gets sexually excited by. But whatever, it's a fun idea.
You know, I apologize to Barsaw Jesus. Sometimes I misspeak. Not on purpose, it happens. And sometimes I realize it as it happens. And he said, when is drinking on the job a quote-unquote wild idea. Yeah, I apologize. I more meant like a day off for it or something like that.
So the word is that this joint, the let's drink on the job and we'll give you a day off if you drink too much, that tech company in Japan, young people all over town are lining up to work there even though they don't pay dick. The company goes by the name of Trust Ring, something or another. I don't know what the hell they do there, but it says here they have a kegerator type setup so you can pour yourself a tall Steve Weiser, and they'll make you a mixed cocktail there too, right there while you're working. And again, they say not one swinging D, or V for that matter, has quit on them in the last 3 years because they've got life nailed even though the pay sucks. Hell yeah, if I was 21 years old, what a gig.
I mean, if you could pay your bills.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to pay your bills. Wouldn't you say that having just a great work environment, something like that, I think that'd be something to consider.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Versus, I mean, I know a few folks that are making some serious money, but they're miserable. They absolutely hate it.
Right. Their entire life is their job. Mm-hmm. So the story says something you were referencing a minute ago, Josh. Competition for workers in Japan is, the word they use, fierce. So companies are looking for ways to draw folks in. And boy, did they find one here. You get to drink. The exact hangover rule there at the company plays out like this. If you had too much to drink, whether it be at work or wherever, instead of coming in at 9 a.m. like everybody else, you can drag your sad carcass through the door at noon and not face any repercussions. The boss over there says this. He says, our salary is set just over minimum wage. We do not have a lot of money, so our workers are free to do what they want. I think it's a good idea to have an enjoyable working environment, he said as he popped the top on a PBR King can or something like that.
I've never worked at a bar, but it seems like people that work at bars enjoy drinking on the job. Is that allowed, or is it just something people do?
Some bars allow it, some don't.
Okay.
You're technically not supposed to at all.
You're not.
Yeah, even if they do allow it, you're not supposed to. But
I mean, that's a bar.
Whatever.
That's a bar. You'd expect that, right? But you and I working at a warehouse, wouldn't that be cool? You know, sure, it's hard work, but we got a friggin' cooler full of beer sitting there.
That would be cool.
Big, on your way in, buy a sleeve of chewing tobacco. We're having the time of our lives until you throw up from the beer and the chewing tobacco.
Yeah, really just the chewing tobacco would get me.
Roughly 60 people work at this dream company in Japan. That's living right there. If you're a young person, like Josh said, if you can get by on the piss-poor salary, that's living.
Now, this was a long, long time ago, Nick. This was even our old building. But do you remember when I tried some cha? Do you remember
Yes,
that?
I do.
I did my best not to show that I was about to throw up.
it's normal.
I'm like, why am my head spinning a little bit? What's with my... And I was gutting it. Maybe I should have spit. I don't know.
Josh.
You put a teeny tiny little...
Oh, it wasn't much.
Pinch. Just the tiniest little pinch of skull in your willing mouth. And you turned as white as a sheet.
Yep.
Your eyeballs turned yellow.
Yeah.
You started to bleed out of one of your ears. I mean, you were fighting it, but you were deathly sick.
Who you got it, dude? That's messed up.
I don't remember that conversation.
I thought you told me that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, that's what long-time chewers do. That probably wasn't the best idea for a newbie.
No, absolutely not.
That was definitely wrong. But then I remember you got frustrated with me because, do you remember I kept sucking my fingers?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I kept doing that. I thought that's what you were supposed to do.
No,
it grossed everyone
don't
out.
suck your fingers.
Yeah, I was surprised that it had that. I had that reaction.
It can hit you hard if you're new to it.
Only time I ever did it, Josh, I had the same experience.
Me too.
Yep.
And I'll say it again. I wish that's the reaction I would have had. I wish. Because here I am all these years later fighting to quit. But the first time I put a skull in my mouth, there were fireworks going off above my head. There was harp music in the background.
I loved it.
And I turned to the guy who gave me that. It was a Skull Mint. I remember that. I turned to him and I said, "Where have you been my entire life? This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me."
You know, in movies, they always show the inexperienced smoker the first time. But, it's in a comedy, they're pretending they know how to do it, and they start coughing like crazy. Is it a similar thing where if you don't do it, you're going to get kind of lightheaded or...
Chewing?
Smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah.
The first time I had a cigarette, I also loved it. So
Yeah, I loved that feeling, the head rush, and you kind of get dizzy. I was like, oh yeah, this is where it's at.
Yeah, it feels like you're floating a little bit.
There's something in the blood in the Bourne family. Nicotine has no effect on us.
I wonder why that is.
We become hooked on it, but it never has. It's never made. I can't think of one member of my family who's afraid of nicotine.
Yeah, we had different experiences where I thought, I think I'm good. I don't know if I need to do that again.
I wish I would have been there for you, Josh. When one of my girlfriends was peer pressured, we were drinking a little bit, and all these guys wanted her to put her first chew in ever. And I was the one person that was ruining the fun. I said, absolutely not. You're going to ruin her whole night. She's going to throw up. She's going to get the spins. It's not happening. I would have helped you out, Josh.
You would have stopped me?
Yeah.
Well, I was curious. I wanted to try it. Bouncer Jesus said on the topic of drinking at work, he doesn't allow his guys to drink. It's a liability. I'm sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's, everybody's so litigious nowadays. I'm sure that's a big part of it. I know there's no drinking in this building, which is different than it used to be.
Even though we get the huge packs of beer dropped off.
What happened? We had a big pack of beer over there the other day.
It's in my basement.
Oh, nice. I'm glad somebody took it.
Since we were talking about chewing, I got to tell that story again about my old neighborhood, the family in my neighborhood. And I want people to know that just because I tell this story, it doesn't mean that I think it was right, because it was not right. But this is 1981 or whatever, and I'm riding my bicycle through the neighborhood, and I pass by the house of a large family. Large family. They had kids that were 1, and they had kids that were 27. It was just that type of a setup, right? And there was one dude around my age that I buddied around with a little bit. I didn't spend a lot of time with this family because they were kind of different. But I stopped my bicycle, and there's the dude that I knew around my age, and there's little babies running everywhere. They had a massive family. And this dude had a Copenhagen in his yap all the time. And at the time, he was maybe 14 or 15. Copy in his yap. And I didn't have any interest in this stuff at that point in my life when I was 11 or whatever. But, so dude puts a big Copy in his yap, and we're just talking. And here comes one of his little brothers with a diaper on his ass. That's how young this kid is. And the kid's like, can I have a bip, 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 bip? And the dude I'm hanging out with takes Copenhagen out of his can, puts it in this tiny little kid's friggin' mouth, and says, "If mommy asks, tell her it's Oreo."
That's so messed up, dude.
Yeah. I don't like that story. Here's a person that said they gave dip to a coworker. Disappeared for an hour. He found him throwing up in the porta potty.
Oh. Man.
Luckily, I didn't throw up, but I thought, here it comes. It's going to happen.
You know my friggin' wife, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we've known each other for 35, 6, 7, 8, 9 years or whatever now. And we still talk about when she came out ice fishing with us in high school. And, of course, we got the stupid Swisher Sweet cigars. We got sleeves of chewing tobacco. We got horrible, cheap beer. And she was a 10th grader, and she wanted to try Kodiak. So we put some of it in her friggin' yap, and she walked right out that fish house and just...
So Kodiak, is that more brutal?
That always hit me harder.
Did it?
That was the first one I ever tried.
Kodiak?
Oh, yeah. And then it got stuck in my braces.
Oh, no. You know how there's levels of manliness for alcohol and stuff like Ashley calls one bitch whiskey?
Yeah.
Is there the same type of thing in chew?
Yeah. Chewers always, try to knock each other down a peg. Oh, what are you doing still chewing that stuff? I do this. I do that. Sure, that stuff goes on all the time. Kodiak, oh God, was I in love with Kodiak. I would have died if Kodiak asked me to. In 1993, if Kodiak would have said, kill for us, I would have done it. That's how hooked I was on Kodiak.
Crazy Fish Guy Jesus, they give dip to their horses to calm them down for showings.
What?
Never heard of such a thing.
I don't know anything about horses.
Really?
I'd love to see a horse just spitting into an empty Mountain Dew can. All right, here we go. Ninja Turtle Nutcase Jesus said the brewery he works at says, go ahead, have some beer on your shift, just don't get trashed. Yeah, brewer. Okay, yeah.
Don't
That makes
don't
sense.
get trashed and don't be talking trash.
No, don't do that.
All right, what are we doing next? This sounds like a fun bit. Dirty, offensive fortune cookies. You follow?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting more tame and boring, I've noticed.
I agree.
I never really have paid attention. I just like the old Dice joke. Dice has a joke where he went into a Chinese restaurant and had dinner, and he opened up the fortune cookie, and it said, "You won't make it out the effing door."
That's what I want the ones that make you a little nervous.
Yeah.
You know?
Looking over your shoulder a little bit.
You
won't
can get
make it.
you can get like all those different kinds of fortune cookies on places like Etsy.com and stuff. It's
Oh, you
fun.
can?
Yeah.
So you open up the cookie after dinner, and it tells you you're a silly little bitch or something along those lines. Here's a hell of a deal. I'll do my best to make this clear. A Chinese food joint in Sydney, Australia, had this gimmick going on. They handed out fortune cookies with dirty dirty messages on the inside, insults and whatnot, shocking foul language. They had hired a company to make the cookies. That's what that company does. They make fortune cookies, and they put the cute message inside, too. The Chinese joint in Australia said to the cookie company, hey, would you mind putting some hurtful insults inside our cookies? That's going to be our thing. And the cookie company said, sure. But the cookie-making company had to stop because they accidentally shoved some insulting messages into some fortune cookies and sent them to restaurants that just wanted regular messages in their fortune cookies. I know that was a lot, but did you follow it?
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
My wife's best friend, they own a restaurant where they have fortune cookies, and I've mentioned that before. Like, come on, mix it up. Put some of those where people look at it and go, oh, no, I wish I didn't open this.
You will die next week.
So you've been to a joint that does this gimmick?
No, I want to. Yeah, I definitely want to. I've had friends that have gotten them, and I don't know if they got it from a restaurant. So I've definitely opened them, but not at an actual restaurant.
So mistakes were made here with this fortune cookie company. A restaurant or two that just wanted your typical fortune inside the cookie, things like, you will have a great year or whatever. They were receiving cookies that said your mother is a truck stop whore. There was a massive misunderstanding, and everyone was pissed and this and that. One of the examples of the filthy messages that the restaurant in Australia was putting in their fortune cookies, you open it up and it says, I only married you for your money, you ugly bitch.
Jeez.
Now that sounds like fun. But the joint in Australia has to find a new way to keep the gimmick going. It's become a real pain in the ass. Their regular customers come in there to be insulted by fortune cookies. And word is they might have to give up. They'll still try and be creative with they cookies, just not too filthy.
Is that the bit at Dick's Last Resort?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't been there. Is that still there in the Mall of America?
I don't think so.
No,
I
it's
think
not.
It's been a while. It was right next to Hooters, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd always heard that, and I was wondering if that was the case, where they absolutely cap on you to the point where you feel like you're going to cry. I've heard they're pretty brutal.
You sit your ass down for a burger, and the waiter or waitress comes over and says, what's going on, stupid ass?
Yeah,
things
that's
like
their
that.
bit, right?
Yeah, and I didn't realize that the first time I had gone there. I was like, okay, the guy's busting balls. I get it. All right, yeah, I'm just trying to have a meal here with my friends. And then somebody filled me in, like, no, this is what they do. Like, they intentionally roast you through the entire meal. I'm like, oh, this isn't that fun.
Yeah,
you
I
might
never
want a
went.
heads up. Big Green Front Load Jesus said, didn't Chino Latino have dirty fortune cookies? I don't know that for sure, but I have a very painful memory from a surprise birthday party with a very tight baby blue ribbed turtleneck. So when you say Chino Latino, I have some flashbacks that aren't very pleasant.
Oh, the turtleneck night. Yes, that was at Chino, by damn, woo, Latino. Let me ask you something about these joints where you sit down for a burger and the waiter or waitress comes over and calls you stupid ass. What if you say in return, oh, I'm fine. Why don't you fetch me a grilled cheese sandwich, slut? I mean, what if you come back at them? What do they do?
I don't think they like that very much. And that's why one of the reasons I never went is because I would want to be a D-bag back.
Yeah, why can't I give it back?
Because I never want to mess with somebody who's preparing my food.
Well, but
if that's the bit,
the gimmick is...
The chef is being nice.
Obviously,
He's in the back
I'm not going to call your typical waiter or waitress a slut, but this is the gimmick. This is the vibe. That would be pretty wrong if they can walk up and call you a moron, but if you call them a slut in return, they go orgasm on your grilled cheese sandwich. Right? That would be, well, I thought we're playing a game. I thought this was the attitude around here.
Yeah, I've been called a bitch at 2 establishments, and I guess I never clapped back with anything. I was just so shocked and entertained that I was laughing more than anything.
Yeah, I just hope that everyone can have fun, not only the employees, but the customers too. But in the end, then if you serve beer, someone's going to die by the end of the night, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Dana, you're right. You got to give a heads up, because what if you got an anger ball buddy that just does not take a joke very well?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you better warn everybody before you walk into the joint. We got to take a break. We'll be back in a minute with sports.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
The Philadelphia Eagles are set to hold their Super Bowl victory parade this week on Valentine's Day in what's being called the ultimate test for Philadelphia boyfriends. Babe, what if I go for just an hour or so?
Tomorrow, the Philadelphia Eagles will celebrate their Super Bowl victory with a parade through the city. I wonder, Josh, this just sprang to mind. I wonder if any sorry sumbitch might have to serve their last place fantasy football punishment by maybe going to this parade dressed in nothing but New York Yankees gear or something like that.
Just be terrified.
Yeah, that's a death sentence.
Been a long time since we had a parade around here.
Remember this, was it Die Hard 3 where Bruce Willis had to wear that sandwich board?
Oh, yeah, Die Hard with a Vengeance. That was tough to watch.
I tell you, I wanted to leave the theater.
It's not good.
That was so bad.
The Wolves were not good last night. Didn't shoot the ball well at all, and they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks by a couple of points. They got to get right back on the court tonight and play Oklahoma City, who does not suck at all. At all. It's going to be tough. Other than that, there's not a hell of a lot going around. We'll try to get something out of Randy Shaver here in about a half hour, but don't go anywhere. Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength.
My biggest fear wasn't death. My biggest fear was nobody will remember me.
That motivates a lot of people.
It just made me feel invincible. Open the steel door and just... They were all convinced, I think, that they were about to die. This rush of stress comes over me because now it's soul time.
All of a sudden, I'm saying, what is really important?
Let us reveal the truth of ourselves.
That's it.
The Sean Ryan Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
She said this is probably going to be the most Floridian experience you've ever experienced.
Florida Man episode 2860 happens every day. welcome to Florida.
Driving a lawnmower requires a certain degree of sobriety not generally associated with Florida man. And here's an example of that. Florida's Lee County Sheriff's Office is investigating a man on a lawnmower who tore down a road Friday afternoon, mowing down multiple mailboxes along the way in a hilarious video you can see on 93x.com. Sound of the crash there. Neighbors still trying to wrap their heads around what they saw.
Absolutely disgusting, but it's so funny. I can watch it 100 times. I hope they get him.
It is a very funny video.
It is great. Yeah.
And there's also another video on 93x.com of a horse rider getting clotheslined. This is in Texas, and I believe his head is still floating above Mexico City somewhere.
That's a must-see.
He hit the thing so hard.
So hard. It looked like he leaned into it, too.
It did. That was bad. So the guy you just heard, he's a 35-year-old named Matt Clardy. His mailbox was among the casualties. He thinks it's funny, but others hope the culprit's caught. Not everyone's laughing. Austin Burr, for example, another neighbor, was clearly frustrated.
You and I hope you at least paid for these mailboxes to be fixed.
Some, like 40-year-old Justin Crawford, think the guy needs more than a slap on the wrist. He should be arrested and thrown into jail for driving while intoxicated on a lawnmower, he said.
Be a man and turn yourself in because you shouldn't be doing this.
The man crashed into one mailbox so hard it flipped him over in the front of the mower. Then he stumbled around in a ditch for a while, hopped back on, and drove off. Not clear yet how many mailboxes he destroyed, how drunk he was, or if it was on purpose or not. The suspect didn't just leave a trail of busted mailboxes. He also left behind a Pittsburgh Steelers hat and a pair of sunglasses that flew off his head. Deputies are working to track him down.
So there's video of him going on this rampage, but no one can identify him?
Not yet.
That's interesting.
I see the humor in it.
Oh, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'd be bummed if my mailbox was amongst those that were taken down, but I would laugh at that video, even if it was my own mailbox. That was good. A Nigerian doctor faced a critical moment during a complicated C-section, but instead of relying on years of medical training or consulting a colleague, he turned to YouTube, and now he's on the run. In a shocking display of medical negligence, the doctor attempted the surgery while following an online tutorial, resulting in a heartbreaking and entirely preventable tragedy.
Jesus.
A mom and baby who didn't survive.
No.
The woman's husband, who had rushed her to the hospital when she went into labor, was stunned when he saw the medical team referencing a YouTube video mid-surgery. He reported the incident to police last Tuesday, but by the time authorities intervened, the dim-witted doctors had vanished. Soon after, footage emerged showing the hospital owner being arrested. Several nurses were also taken into custody, but the doctors responsible had already disappeared.
And we're sure they're real doctors?
Yeah, well, they're claiming, yes, they are.
Dude.
They're now searching for the missing doctors.
They just took off.
Yeah, they left this poor mom and baby.
F me running.
That's so awful.
I stopped going to a doctor because, we go for these yearly physicals for work here. She would consult YouTube every time.
Oh, really? In front of you?
Yeah. And she would look stuff up all the time. And then she said, hey, I'm not so sure, but there's these YouTube doctors I find. You should look these guys up. I thought, oh, maybe I'll go to somebody else.
I had a doctor like that once too, Josh, and it was very alarming.
Maybe it's more common, but I haven't had it since. But it was like 2 years in a row, and I thought, maybe I should be seeing somebody else. I mentioned it to Dr. P, and he laughed. He thought, yeah, it's pretty hard. He's like, at least I'd hide it.
Yeah, don't do it in front of me.
Did you ever, wake up with your pants unbuttoned or anything like that?
Nothing like that.
Okay.
A guy could dream, but it never happened. A 62-year-old Minnesota man's now facing 2 counts of threats of violence thanks to a drunken prank call, a fake bomb threat to a hospital. A deputy from the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, who was stationed at the hospital, got a report about an unknown caller who ominously announced, I placed a bomb in the hospital. It's going to go off. Thank you. Investigators traced the phone number back to the suspect, very polite suspect.
Yeah.
Secured a search warrant and paid him a visit. He reportedly confessed to investigators he didn't have a bomb and made the call because he was drunk.
What did his roommate, otherwise known as his grandmother, have to say about that?
She was silent. She stood in the back and just shook their head. He'll have some time for the hangover to subside because he doesn't have to be in court until next week.
That's smart. That's a smart move.
Yeah, good call. A Texas high school principal was ousted from his job last month after an internal investigation found he made a credible death threat against a colleague. 52-year-old Marshall Myers, who worked for the Natalia Independent School District, was fired after the district's Board of Trustees unanimously ruled he violated school policy with his alarming remark last year.
The district says Myers threatened a district employee by saying, quote, "If anybody kills my son's college record, I'm going to kill you all," end quote.
The staffer, fearing for their safety, reported that threat, and they weren't alone. A second employee came forward as a witness, corroborating the claim. The district immediately placed Myers on leave while launching an investigation. Officials also revealed it wasn't the first time he faced disciplinary action. He had been placed on leave for a separate undisclosed incident in 2023. In a statement, the district made it clear violent threats wouldn't be tolerated. Threats of violence have no place in the workplace, and the district will take swift and decisive action, they said. The board officially voted to remove Myers during a January 31st meeting.
Yeah, sounds like a guy who runs a little hot, huh?
Yeah, 2 years in a row he had some sort of issue. A 30-year-old former Anoka County work release officer is facing serious charges after her husband discovered she was having an affair with an inmate and turned her in.
That is so hot.
The former officer started working at the Anoka County Jail in June, but conveniently resigned in October, right when she learned she was about to be put on administrative leave. According to the criminal complaint, she and the inmate spoke on the phone 283 times since mid-September. Her husband provided law enforcement with screenshots of their messages, which included nude photos, sexual innuendos, and plans to meet up. Since the inmate had work release privileges, he was able to leave the facility multiple times to bang between July and October.
Oh, really?
Her husband told investigators she'd been leaving home early hours or coming back late, raising suspicions. Their kids even told him they saw Mom and the inmate kissing. When confronted, she begged him not to report her, then got angry when he did. Once confronted with evidence, she admitted to having sex with the inmate while the employed at the jail. Perhaps in a callback to a story in the news yesterday, the inmate was in a turgid state as he, quote, repetitively engaged with the former work release officer. She later claimed she tried to end things several times and then said that he threatened her, though authorities say there's no evidence to support any of that.
Whew, how's the old man's pride doing, Josh?
I'd imagine it's not doing very well. It's probably seen better days.
And the kids, how are they?
Poor kids.
Good? Are they good?
If convicted, she faces up to 25 years in prison, where we know she gets horny, and a $50,000 fine.
Well, at least he'll get custody of the kids. That's the upside.
You got to admit that's sexy stuff, though.
In a way.
Yeah.
Depends what they look like.
Right,
Depends on who you ask in this story.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not so sexy.
It wasn't an alkaline battery, but domestic battery that fueled a Florida woman's dildo attack over the weekend. No. Cops were dispatched Sunday to a Fort Pierce, Florida home in reference to a disturbance in progress involving a 52-year-old man and a 50-year-old woman. The victim told police the woman was drinking alcohol, resulting in her acting disorderly and starting arguments about who he follows on Instagram. At one point, she began to get in the victim's face. When the man warned he'd call 911, she pulled out a sex toy and began dildoing him in the face in a fake dong beating of a lifetime. When cops arrived, the man warned she was inside naked and she would have no qualms flashing the officers.
Flashing them?
Yeah, so they ran in faster.
Mm-hmm.
She was reportedly agitated, disorderly, and smelled of alcohol when police tried questioning her. The arrest report doesn't indicate whether police confiscated the weapon as evidence. They also didn't say what model it was. The report didn't list if it was the Darth vibrator, the Moby Dick, the vibrating rubber ducky, or the magic banana. They also never mentioned whether it was the Double Trouble, the purple pubic eater, the disco stick, or the big Ladongski.
Pubic eater?
I like that
purple
one.
Pubic eater.
Pubic eater?
Yes.
Okay.
But the report, I'm going to guess it has one of those suckers on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know the suckers, yeah.
But what the report did say is that a judge ordered her to have no contact with the victim.
Well, you stay in a relationship long enough, someone will take a dildo beating.
Why does he have an Instagram? He's in his 50s.
It's only a matter of time.
Are you saying he's too old for Instagram?
I'm saying he's too old for Instagram also.
I think I'm almost,
age-shaming over here?
I am age-shaming,
I'm
yes.
almost too old for it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. More evidence that dogs really are a man's best friend, as a very good boy in Virginia helped a home invasion victim make a daring escape. Two armed men stormed a home, thinking they had the upper hand. But their plan unraveled fast. One victim outsmarted them by stealing their getaway car and calling the cops. The other chased them down with a gun the dummies dropped while fleeing. 41-year-old James Kennedy and his accomplice disguised as a utility worker. They tricked their way inside by claiming there was a gas leak.
Just like in the movies.
Yeah. Once inside, Kennedy ambushed the victim at gunpoint, ordered him to the floor. A second victim, asleep in another room, woke to a gun in his face and was dragged into the kitchen.
That sucks.
Then came the unexpected hero, the victim's dog. Its barking rattled the intruders just enough for the owner to convince them to let him take the dog outside so he wouldn't hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
The moment the victim stepped out, he bolted, saw the suspect's car still running, and took off in it. Meanwhile, Kennedy and his accomplice scrambled, grabbing cash, valuables, and a gun before realizing their escape ride was gone. Forced to flee on foot, they left behind another gun in the victim's living room. And that's when the second victim grabbed it and ran after them. Shots were fired on both sides, but miraculously, no one was hit. The stolen car led police straight to Kennedy, who was arrested weeks later at a relative's home.
What a bunch of bumbling asshats these guys turned out to be.
Picture that whole thing playing out with the Benny Hill theme song going on in the background.
Definitely.
That makes it more fun.
They had a decent plan. The execution sucked. A Georgia district attorney's office won't press charges against a man who fired through his apartment door, hitting an unarmed woman, asking him to turn down his music. The 28-year-old woman and her husband had knocked on their neighbor's door about 10 p.m. to ask him to lower the volume. Instead, a bullet tore through the door, hitting the woman in the abdomen, damaging her liver, the very organ whiskey ravaged in Ashley in recent years, and the victim's colon, the feces factory where her lady poops are made.
What the?
The man who fired the shot told police he saw what he thought was a gun through the peephole and fired in self-defense, but admitted drinking about 7 beers earlier that day, so couldn't be too sure he saw a gun, and he didn't. Initially, the shooter was charged with reckless conduct, but prosecutors recommended upgrading it to aggravated battery because he fired a firearm through a door knowing the victim was standing directly outside. Despite this, the district attorney's office dropped all charges last month, citing self-defense. The woman's husband said he'll continue seeking justice for his wife, pushing for a formal appeal to reinstate felony charges, an independent review of the case, and legislative action to prevent similar dismissals in the future.
If we allow this to happen, there may be other Jalens that are victims of this same senseless type of crime.
Coolest voice on the radio right there.
Yep.
Thankfully, the woman has recovered from her injuries.
Man, take a shot right to the guts, and you said something about lady poop or something?
Yeah, right there in the colon.
I don't like that part.
Yeah. I had to look it up. Women have colon.
Oh, really?
Colons.
Ah.
Well,
I
one.
didn't know that.
Women have...
They have colon.
Colon.
They do. I have a bumper sticker that reads the same. True to her name, a 25-year-old sex worker faces charges for kidnapping and stealing nearly $300,000 in cryptocurrency from a man she met at a Las Vegas nightclub. Leggy Spready. Zapri Outlaw. Outlaw is her name. Met the victim at a nightclub November 22nd, police said. The victim said he was possibly drugged while speaking with Outlaw and another woman. Around 2 a.m., the trio left the club in an SUV, but instead of heading for a wild after-party, the victim said the car stopped a block away where a new passenger, this one armed with a gun, kindly invited him to get out.
Damn.
As he did, he realized his watch, phone, and wallet had been stolen, and a deeper dive into his accounts later revealed multiple unauthorized transactions, including a hefty $300,000 withdrawal from his cryptocurrency funds. Police arrested Outlaw last week, and when questioned, she reportedly declared, "I sell my vagina, and I didn't do anything."
What? Why did she say that?
I don't know. Meanwhile, other suspects...
Yeah,
she's... Apparently, it's up for sale. Meanwhile...
Anyone in the market?
No. I think I'll pass. Other suspects in the case, whose vaginas may or may not be on the market, remain at large with outstanding warrants.
That's shady.
Hey, I sell my vagina.
Why did she say that?
I don't know. That's a weird thing to say.
This is going to bother me all day long as to why she included that into her conversation.
Yeah, I don't get why she put that there either.
Coming up next, we'll talk with Randy Shaver.
Randy Shaver.
It was the hardest wood I had ever touched.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
According to a new report, searches for football-themed porn videos surged during and after the Super Bowl. But to be fair, A lot of those people were legitimately looking for clips of the tush push.
We got Randy Shaver here now coming at us live from effing Florida. Hi, Randy.
Good morning.
We got a couple of messages this morning, Randy Shaver, from listeners who were going to be looking for you this weekend at the Daytona 500.
Okay.
They're making the trip down to see the race, and if they find you, they say they're going to buy you a cold one.
Ooh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wear something bright and colorful.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if you got an ass man down there. That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be, wouldn't it?
I was going to ask you, I mean, you don't happen to have like an old Ernie Irvin T-shirt or anything like that. You don't have
I don't. I mean, I bought a Daytona hat when I was there for my tour, so I'll wear that. But that's not really the same thing.
Maybe you need to get on eBay real quick and get like an old Ken Schrader Cheerios Chevrolet do-rag or something like that. So folks will say, oh, this guy's been following NASCAR for years.
Exactly.
He's wearing the Ken Schrader Cheerios do-rag. Something like that.
I think if I just bopped into any Target store down here, I'm sure I could find something NASCAR.
That's a good point.
Because either that or Mickey Mouse. You'll find either of those things, I'm sure.
Sure.
In any store down here. So.
I don't know.
But you're right. I should dress appropriately, shouldn't I?
Something Benny Parsons, something Cale Yarborough, something. A member of the Bobby Allison fan club. I don't know. I don't want them to turn on you down there because NASCAR fans are very loyal. I don't want them turning on you.
You're right. I should try to blend in as best I can.
I don't know. Who else can I come up with? Jeff Bodine. I don't know. Ah, man.
What's the weather going to be like? Has it changed since yesterday? You said it might be kind of rainy.
No, it's still the same. I guess there's maybe a little bit less of a chance of rain. I hope that it goes off okay, but, it's just one of those things. They don't drive in the rain at Daytona. So if it rains, they either sit and wait till it's done or they postpone till the next day. So,
especially in the late 90s and early 2000s, NASCAR gear, became so popular. Hats and T-shirts displaying your favorite driver. I'm sure all of you, tell me if you agree. Aside from Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. stuff was being worn from one end of town to the other. Then you had Little Dinkus with the DuPont, what the hell was his name again? Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon.
Other than that, and I always liked it too. The coloring was cool when Bobby Labonte was driving the Interstate Batteries car.
That was my favorite driver back in the day.
Because the car looked cool.
Yeah, it did.
And Bobby Labonte was kind of a likable, but the Interstate Batteries, red and green, you saw, that was also, don't overlook how much gear they sold during that time period too.
Oh,
yeah.
Right up there with Dale.
I'm not really sure, because I don't follow NASCAR super closely.
Neither do I.
Who's the most popular driver now?
Good question.
Who would be, if I were to buy his gear, I would blend in perfectly. I would be a front runner.
Cole Trickle.
Well,
no,
he's
true.
dead.
No. Maybe a listener knows.
Yeah, I don't follow it anymore either. And seeing how the season hasn't started, I haven't read a single word.
I want to be a front runner.
Yeah.
I want to be.
Well, who won it last year? I don't even know.
I do know because I saw the story the other day, and I'm not going to remember now. Maybe that's the guy I need to buy.
I think Chase Elliott's pretty hot.
Yeah, Randy, I'm totally out of the loop as well.
People are saying, Randy, with your looks, they're going to assume you're an owner if you start wearing one of those.
I'm out of the loop.
You remember the NASCAR experience at the Mall of America?
Yes.
That's part of what we did for my bachelor party. And we were getting smoked by one particular guy. I mean, he was so good, I thought he was going to walk out in a sponsored fire suit. I thought, this guy's got to be a driver. He was awesome. And then once it was revealed who it was a priest in full-on priest regalia.
That is so cool, dude.
He dominated. He was basically signing autographs. He was so good at it.
William Byram.
William Byron is the defending champ.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I I haven't tuned in quite a few years. He won the Schmear last year, William Byron. I've heard the name before. Well, that ought to be something. That ought to be really something for you tomorrow. Or this weekend, sorry, Sunday. Wow. Jeff Jarrett sold a lot of UPS hats, too. Wasn't that his sponsor? Wasn't it UPS? Jeff Jarrett. Not Jeff Jarrett. Dale Jarrett. Sorry.
I was going to say Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. I got crossed up. Dale Jarrett, number 88. I thought it was the UPS. I think he won. All right. Wolves were not terribly sharp last night. Didn't shoot the ball well. The Milwaukee Bucks beat them by 2.
Well, it's the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis and Lillard, too.
Right. Lots of missing pieces for both teams.
But that's just disappointing to lose a game like that. Did I read right that Ant at one point missed 16 consecutive shots?
He was not good.
Does anybody else want to shoot?
I take back everything we said yesterday. Let's trade him.
Down both. Milwaukee has a foul to give. Edwards working on Porter. Step back 3. No. Rebound Kuzma. And time expires.
There were a lot. Ant missed a shot there at the end of the game. Of course, it was a step back 3 nearly at midcourt. Ant did a lot of dribbling and just firing when he felt like it last night. It was not a good game. The Wolves,
really
of course,
disappointing. And of course, now they get OKC tonight.
Oh,
good luck.
Yeah, it was a winnable game last night. Poor decisions were made. Edwards shot the ball like ass. I don't know for sure that he missed 16 shots in a row. I might have guessed more from watching last night's game.
Well, I thought I read that he had missed. They shot their lowest percentage of the year, and that at one stretch he had missed like 15 or 16 shots in a row.
It wasn't good
during the game.
Gary Trent Jr., who went to high school here in town, he had 21 points off the bench for the Bucks. Rudy was all right last night. Naz Reid was all right, but another slow start and just garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage shooting.
Something has to change with these slow starts. These slow starts are just killing this team right now.
Yeah.
Either they have to work so hard to get back in the game and they end up winning, or they fall behind so much that they just can't make it up. It's just tough.
Mm-hmm. And like you
frustrating.
Said, they're right back at it tonight playing at home against Oklahoma City, who is very, very, very...
Who's at full strength. Chet Holmgren is back, and he's playing minutes. He's getting about 25, 28 minutes a night. Back from that hip injury. OKC is the team to beat, man, in the West.
You got a little too loose in Oklahoma City once, didn't you?
Dude, what band?
Mr. Big.
That's right. I got a little too loose in. Sing it, Cubby.
Oklahoma City.
Back to... that was about the most spirited singing we've ever gotten out of you.
Yeah, not much of a singer. It's Mr. Big. I get kind of excited.
Back to Randy's plans to hit the Daytona 500 this weekend. Boy, it's a damn shame that this driver retired because it'd be perfect. Because I'm guessing at this point you don't know who to root for. You want to be a front runner, you said.
Yeah, I'd like to know who the favorite is. That's who I.
But like a lot of us, if we went, straight to a NASCAR race, we probably wouldn't know exactly who we're rooting for. And you just maybe draw a name out of the hat, or maybe root for the driver based on their sponsor. So a few people have texted in to say it's a damn shame that Mark Martin is no longer driving the Viagra car, because that would be. Don't you think that'd be fitting for you? That would be your...
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the amount he buys, they gave him a hat. That's what I would
I'd be cheering on the blue pill. Yes.
Go, blue pill, go.
Did the announcers have fun with that? Were there a lot of double entendres and stuff like that?
I never really listened much to the announcers when I watched NASCAR back in the day, although I did like the characters involved. Darrell Waltrip's an entertaining guy, and whom I'm missing. Anyway, back to last night's Wolves game now. I love this. They lost by 2 to the Bucks. They shot the ball like absolute garbage. After the game, Rudy Gobert blamed the referees. And good for him.
Yeah.
You don't like NBA refs?
No, they're the worst. I wouldn't exactly put the finger on the referees last night, but I love that Rudy Gobert's got the balls to do it anyway.
He still went for it.
Yeah. Kurt Angle once blamed the crowd when he lost a title match. I thought that took a lot of courage, too.
God, he was the best.
That was one of the greatest post-match interviews I've ever seen. I think it was in his hometown of Pittsburgh. He lost a title match, and they caught up to Kurt in the locker room, and he's pouring sweat. They put a mic in his face. Kurt, you lost a belt in your hometown. You got anything to say? And he says, I don't exactly want to blame the crowd.
That's great.
But they weren't. All right, Knickerbockers Heat last night in the NBA. I like this headline. Karl Anthony Towns is in the New York Knicks record book, but only after nearly throwing the game away. And that is true. Karl scored 44 points last night, but he had a boneheaded pass late in the game that helped the Hawks push the game into overtime. The Knicks did win in overtime, but it was just terrible. And I've seen Karl make this mistake before. He is not the guy to inbounds the basketball. Late in the game, the Knicks are up by 1 or 2. Karl's under the basket. He's got a timeout if he needs it, but he panics and throws the basketball under his own basket, which a 7th-grade kid knows not to do, and the Hawks made a layup. At any rate, it went into overtime. The Knicks won. Karl scored 44, so now he's just the 5th player. He's scored 40 points or more in back-to-back games. He's only the 5th player in Knicks history to register consecutive 40-point games. So this was Karl Anthony Towns' 5th 40-point game of the season for New York. That's second most in Knicks history. For the love of Christ, when I was a senior in high school, Patrick Ewing had 11 40-point games in that basketball season.
Wow.
Back when centers were an offensive force without shooting three-point baskets.
Exactly.
When centers were the I guess center of most teams' offenses, and Patrick Ewing could score points.
He was a player for sure.
You guys haven't seen the Carmelo Anthony tequila commercial where they're drinking? Yeah, they're drinking tequila on ice, Josh, in glasses with courtside seats at a basketball game. That sounds like a good way for someone to be hurt.
Yeah, it does.
Exactly.
I have not seen the commercial.
Just tequila on ice is a good way to get hurt.
That's a good point.
True.
Is it their own brand or just a?
I don't know. It's just Carmelo Anthony looking cool, courtside seats, and he's drinking tequila out of a glass with ice.
Is it a rule now that if you're a famous person, you have to have your own line of tequila?
Yep.
Seems that way.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. Are there a lot of
The Rock, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Jason Momoa?
Or a vodka or some sort of alcohol.
I was unaware.
It looks like it's 1800, so not his own brand.
Who are we talking about?
Carmelo Anthony.
He advertises for 1800 brand tequila.
Yeah, he's a partner with them.
Well,
I thought you were giving the time in military time. For a second. It came out of nowhere.
Former NBA player, current reefer addict Paul Pierce says he's interested in being the next Bachelor, meaning for the television program.
Also has a podcast with his former teammate Kevin Garnett, who asked Paul if he would ever go on The Bachelor.
Hey, man.
So many questions.
I'm ready. I'm looking for love. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
That might be kind of entertaining.
Paul Pierce wants to be on the television show The Bachelor. Now, personally, never saw it. Anyone here like to watch The Bachelor?
I've caught a few episodes here and there.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I don't sit down to watch it, though.
Yeah, you tell yourself whatever you have to, Dana.
You've watched all of it.
Exactly.
You've watched every single season.
Anybody, Dana.
You've watched The Golden Bachelor, Bachelorette.
I actually did watch Golden
Bachelor in Paradise.
Okay, well, would Paul Pierce, would he fit in with the program, do you think? Do you know who Paul Pierce is?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be entertaining.
Okay.
I've only watched some clips, like my daughter watches it. And so if there's somebody that's especially weird, like there was a season or two, and people that watch this stuff might know who it is. This guy was very serial killer-y. right? His vibes where he's going to kill someone.
Yeah, there's usually one or two of those I hear.
And there were women vying for his love?
No, he was vying for hers. So
okay. That's the Bachelorette. Got it.
So I saw some of that, and she's like, hey, tell me what you notice about that. And she was telling me exactly. So maybe people that watch know what I'm talking about. It was some dude that I think he probably has murdered someone before. Very, very creepy.
I don't think it would work because all the women would just be pretending to like basketball too much. It would just be too much of that.
He's too big of a target, are you saying, because he's a famous basketball Hall of Famer with piles of money?
Yeah.
So the women wouldn't be sincere about it.
Not
They'd
at
just
all.
be diving at his feet.
Unlike the sincerity you're used to.
I was going to say, have you ever seen the show?
No, I actually don't watch it much.
They're all
I haven't
happen to
seen
be
it.
Instagram famous.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a really long time, but when I used to watch it, it wasn't like people that were filthy rich. It was just regular
Well, I just
people.
think they're all very phony in general. I mean, going on a reality TV show to try to fall in love. I mean, there's ulterior motives.
Well, I'll tell you what. Paul Pierce, whoever he was talking to at the time, reminded him that he might end up having to get married again. I guess folks who know Paul Pierce are surprised to hear him say he wants to be on a dating show because apparently he slings it around pretty good. He's a born and bred woodsman.
I would assume he does.
He shouldn't. They're saying Paul Pierce is not the type of guy that to be tied down by one woman's. Which dating show was it where a gal pooped on the stairs?
Was that Flavor of Love or whatever it was called?
I don't know.
God.
Did you hear that, Randy?
No.
Yeah.
I think it was Flavor of Love.
With Flavor Flav.
That sounds right.
I watched a couple episodes of that, and I watched the one Bret Michaels was on.
Oh, Rock of Love?
Yeah, Rock of Love.
Women were fighting to be with Flavor Flav. Now, I'm a Flavor Flav fan, but I can't picture a room full of women wanting his body.
I've seen some videos of that, and it's so insane because you're right. Why do you want him?
Right.
I only watched one episode. I never saw the anger poop or whatever it was with the lady on the stairs.
Were you watching that episode, Randy, where a gal pooped on his stairway?
I think it was out of anger, wasn't it?
There was like a whole
She got mad?
investigation. They're like, who did it?
Pooped on the stairs.
That's like, if that happens in my house, I got 2 dogs that I have to ask them, which one of you did this?
That's mad.
The girl that did it, she looks like the type.
Didn't she end up with them?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, maybe it doesn't matter.
To cut a deuce on somebody's stairs, I mean, by damn, you are mad.
Yeah, the real story was she pooped on the stairs.
Bro, don't do that.
Gross.
Yeah, that's not right at all. But Flavor Flav,
Imagine if you did pick her, you know? You know when I knew it? When you took a dump on the stairs.
You're willing to do anything for me.
I do enjoy Flavor Flav. And, I mean, everyone knows that he made that mayonnaise bowl worth watching, worth sticking around for the end, that mayonnaise bowl with Flavor Flav.
We may see him at a Gopher football game this fall. You
I
never
hope
know.
so.
The genuine
enthusiasm to be close.
The genuine enthusiasm on Fleck's face was so just it was childlike. He was so excited to see Flavor Flav.
Ooh, now here's an interesting question. As we're talking about all these dating shows, they've been going on forever and ever and ever and ever. Bachelor, Bachelorette, all that stuff. And, of course, you can go all the way back to the dating game and whatnot on television from the 60s, 70s. And Lives in Brainerd Jesus, if you're not 100% correct, you're on to something. He says, wasn't the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, the murdering bastard in California in the mid to late 80s, wasn't he on a dating game, a television show? If he was not, you're maybe thinking of Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy.
It was Richard Ramirez.
Well, then Ted Bundy also was on a televised dating game.
I just watched. They came out with like a new TV or movie about that. Or Richard Ramirez being on a TV show.
Okay, look up Ted Bundy. Then it's correct for both. I know that Ted Bundy was on a dating game.
It looks like he was on the dating game.
Yeah, isn't that something? But you know what they say about those psycho killers. They're very charming and they can talk you into anything. So these bastards talked their way onto these dating shows. These women didn't realize they were vying for the attention of sick, murdering maniacs.
I watched a little bit of that, and he's very charming. I mean, that was part of his gig, right?
Bundy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his thing. All right, sorry to darken the conversation. But I thought that was a very interesting...
Just a tad.
I thought it was a very interesting text from Stuck in Brainerd Jesus.
They actually claimed that Ted Bundy wasn't on the dating game. It was somebody that looked like exactly like him.
I'm sorry?
Richard Ramirez was on the dating game.
Ted Bundy was not?
No, it was somebody that looked exactly like him.
I thought it was like on his... Oh, okay. To look that. I thought it was like on IMDb even. We'll have to look that up.
I don't know. I can live with either answer, to be totally honest. Now, people are texting in saying Rodney Alcala. I don't know who that is.
Yep, that's what comes up when you look up like Ted Bundy on the game show.
Well, who the hell is Rodney Alcala?
He was a notorious serial killer. That's
Never
all I
heard
know.
of him. Never heard of him.
Yeah, not that notorious.
Yeah, must not have been very good at it. Sorry, it's dark.
Randy Shaver, what I have in front of me here is the rosters for the the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game.
Oh.
It's always fun to see how many I've heard of.
So that'll be, what day is it today?
Saturday night?
Tomorrow night.
It'll be Saturday?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Friday night. Friday night.
Tomorrow night they're doing the Celebrity All-Star Game. And then Saturday they'll dunk and shoot three-point baskets, and then Sunday will be the real game. So here we go. They're playing the game in San Francisco. So each of the celebrity rosters has a San Francisco famous type coach. Barry Bonds will coach one of the teams.
Okay.
And the other will be coached by Jerry Rice.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
I like Jerry Rice.
Some of the characters you might have heard of on Team Bonds. All I can do is throw names at you. I don't know who. 2 Chainz.
He's a rapper.
Okay. Baron Davis. So they do have a former basketball player. Baron Davis. That's all that I've heard of.
2 Chainz and Baron Davis.
They're
playing one-on-one.
I'm going to read them all, and you guys just holler at me if you have anything to say about any of these supposedly famous people playing for Team Bonds at the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game. Kai Cenat, Rome Flynn, Alicia Gray. Oh, she's a WNBA player. Mickey Guyton, Tucker Halpern, Noah Kahan, Danny Ramirez, Masai Russell, Pablo Schreiber, Dylan Wang. Fair enough. Playing on Team Jerry Rice, Cabby Lame, Matt Barnes, former NBA player. Oh, WWE wrestler Bailey.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Chris Brickley, AP isn't that? Those aren't letters. AP Dillon, Drewski, Walker Hayes, Shelby McEwen, Terrell Owens. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Take your shirt off.
Shabuzi.
Oh, I like that guy.
Nobody likes Shabuzi.
He has like one song.
Oliver Stark and Kayla Thornton. Oh, she's a WNBA player. Yeah, there used to be a time when I'd recognize some of these names.
Yeah.
If you like cutesy stuff on social media, you ought to check this out right here. A hot new couple on social media. 5'6" University of Illinois wrestler, that's the dude, and his 6'2" former college volleyball player girlfriend. Okay? The wrestler's name is Lucas Bird. He's a senior at the University of Illinois, wrestler. One of the best in the country at 133 pounds. 2-time All-American, currently ranked 4th in the country, has a legitimate shot to win a national championship. And now he's become what they call here an internet sensation because he's this little 5'6" character and his girlfriend is 6'2".
Wow.
Her name is Ellie Holzman, a former Illini volleyball player. Have you seen the pictures and the videos, Josh?
Yeah.
It's up on 93x.com if you want to see the difference. Height difference.
So there's all types of videos on social media of the dude having to hop up into the air in order to kiss her. And they dance together, and it's awkward as hell. And the
You don't see that very often.
No. Did you guys...
Short king.
Did you ever have a significant other who was much taller than you, much shorter than you? Did you ever have a friend or anyone or that married or dated, so where the size difference was noticeable.
I mean, outside, I had a friend who was about 6'3", and his girlfriend was 5 feet.
Well, that's quite noticeable.
That's quite noticeable.
Yeah, he always dated smaller girls.
Okay.
I dated somebody in middle school that was significantly shorter than me, and I got made fun of it. So then I broke up with him.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah,
you
sorry,
got
man.
made fun of, so he got dumped.
Yeah. That was sixth grade was rough.
Well,
All
I mean,
right.
you're not the tallest lady in the world, and I imagine you certainly weren't in junior high. So, I mean, this guy must have been.
Yeah, he had like nicknames regarding his height. It was pretty bad.
What drew you to him?
He was really cute.
Yeah?
Really cute, actually. I feel bad for the kid. I hope he's doing good now.
He's in jail.
He might be. Actually, he might be.
That's what you were into.
So I guess this couple, Randy Shaver, did you have a really tall girlfriend, really short girlfriend? Any of your bros date tall women, short?
Not really. No, I can't say that any of my friends really did, or, I mean, I've seen the height disparity. I didn't know the people, but I've seen, looks like a boyfriend, girlfriend. In college, there was a high jumper for the women's track team who was a very tall woman, and she dated, I don't think the guy was an athlete, but he was a shorter guy, so I've seen it before.
Diabetic Jedi Jesus said he's 6'5", his wife is 5'3". This person says my wife is 6'2", I'm 5'10".
Yeah, did you hear his pickup line?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're the same height when we're laying down.
That's fun.
And it worked.
Yeah, sure. All I can think of was there was a couple at my high school where she was so thin. Thin. Just when she turned sideways, she disappeared. And the dude that she was involved with, the size of a damn house.
You usually see that the other way around.
Right. And when they would make out, they made out a lot. They were huge on public displays of affection. Huge. It would look as if the dude was making out with the wall. Because he would absolutely dwarf her 5 times over. So it looked like the dude was like grinding up against a wall. Well, what he had was his girlfriend up against the friggin' wall.
Farmington Dad.
And there were nicknames.
I'm sure.
I bet. Farmington Dad Jesus is 6'9", his wife is 5 feet.
Wow.
Garbage Man Jesus, his fiance is 6'1", and he's 5'7".
I've never dated somebody that much taller than me.
Well, check these 2 kids out on social media. They recently did an interview with the Big Ten Network to discuss their relationship and now their newfound internet fame.
Doesn't your neck hurt if you're always looking up, if you have a really tall significant other?
I bet it takes its physical toll on you.
Yeah.
The tall gal, again, Ellie Holzman, she's 6'2", her boyfriend is 5'6". She said, at first, I was all like, ugh, he's shorter than me. I'm never going to date him.
Ugh.
But once I got over it, it flourished into this beautiful thing.
I don't think I would admit that if I was with them. At first, I was like, heck no, shorty.
I saw you and I thought, gross.
And really, honestly,
my eyes are way up here, pal. Way up here.
if you follow collegiate wrestling, look for this kid, Lucas Bird. They say he very well could be a national champion at the end of the season.
Tatted Mama Jesus is 5'2", and every boyfriend she's ever had has been over 6 feet. She likes him tall.
Sure.
Wow.
You do see that.
Randy, here's your update on the 4 food groups invitational hockey tournament going on. Okay, now the Canadians beat those big stubborn Swedes last night. Tonight, the United States of America plays the friggin' Finns.
Okay.
Someone said Mario Lemieux was at the game last night. He does not belong on my television. I'm glad I wasn't watching because he does not belong on my he does not deserve to be on my television. There are plenty of Minnesota connections at the tournament, and Randy, thank you for being patient so far. Because I know your thoughts on this tournament.
Yeah.
So what do we got going here? By the way, the NHL calls this a best-on-best tournament. Even though there's only four countries invited, no Russians, no Czechs. It's round robin, this and that. Okay. Pigs players, 5 are involved in the tournament. As far as forwards go, Matt Boldy playing for the United States, Joel Eriksson Ek playing for Sweden. As far as defensemen go, Brock Faber's playing for the Americans. Brodin, Sweden. Old Phil, the goalie, Sweden. Bill Guerin's the GM of the United States club. And Gene Snitsky, head coach of the Pigs, is an assistant coach. Former Wild players in the tournament. One of the most underrated players that the Pigs ever had, Eric Howla.
Oh, yeah.
I just...
Good player.
I know that, from what I understand, maybe...
We had to get rid of him to Vegas, didn't we, when Vegas became a team?
I think that's how it played out.
Yep, they lost him in the expansion draft.
Yeah.
I've heard maybe he's not the easiest guy in the world to like, but Eric Howla, I thought, was a terrific all-around player for the Pigs. He's playing for Finland. Mikael Granlund, plays for the Sharks now. Also a Finn, Gustav Nyquist, who? And then they go this route with the article. Minnesota connections. Okay, Jake Gensel, whatever. His dad coached the Golden...
Jake Gensel,
I don't know what club he plays for in the NHL anymore.
Was with Pittsburgh. I don't know who he's with now.
Played high school hockey at Hill Murrah. He's playing for America. Brock Nelson, Jake Ottinger. Now, here's the biggest reach in this article about the four-wheel drive hockey tournament going on. Here's the biggest reach as far as Minnesota connections. For Team Canada, Sidney Crosby, who played 1 year at Shattuck St. Mary's in Faribault.
No.
Don't do that to us.
No. Right.
That's not a Minnesota connection.
No. Oh, that was a reach for a local angle.
Yeah.
Remember a week ago or so, when the Pigs' Ryan Hartman forced that kid to deep throat the face-off circle, and he was suspended for 10 games. He'll have his appeal hearing with the NHL commissioner tomorrow, Randy.
Okay.
He can try to plead.
Will he be attending, or is he in Mexico?
I think he has to go and sit in the office with Gary Bettmental and have a conversation. But
that sucks.
I can't be sure of that. If you better dress nice, if that's the
Yeah.
Just a Zoom call and he's on the beach.
Yeah. Corona going.
This is funny. So Hartman says that he was attempting to use his hand to regain his balance, and he used the other player to attempt to regain his balance, and they just fell to the ice accidentally together.
Hey, remember that's what I said I thought happened.
Come on.
Yeah, if you didn't watch the video, that's very believable.
That's good. You see, I lost my balance, and I was using the other. The league disagrees with that. But although you have to, maybe it'll be reduced. And like Marky Foligno was telling us a week ago, it's a lot of friggin' money.
Yeah.
A lot of money going out the window if he really sucks on a 10-game suspension. So,
Right.
for God's sake. Nearly
And not
$500,000.
Not only a 10-game suspension, but then you got to sit through this god-awful 2 weeks of the 4 food groups battling each other.
I knew you couldn't hold it. I knew you couldn't hang on to it.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it is. Minnesota connection, Sidney Crosby. That's cute. Did you guys know that scientists, my damn, the different projects that they'll take on, but I mean, they got to stay busy figuring this out, figuring that out. Scientists are trying to figure out why so many American hockey players sound like fake Canadians.
Now, I hear that sometimes.
I guess I never noticed.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed. I mean, it's the same as, like, this is an experience I had when we were young. One of my pals went off to boot camp in South Carolina, and he came home talking like Gomer effing Pyle.
I guess if you're around the people that talk like that,
Right.
you could see it happening pretty easily. Yeah.
It's as easy as that.
Just being exposed.
Right. And especially when you're younger, you're more impressionable. You want to fit in, all of that stuff. You got to remember, a lot of these hockey players are 20 years old, for Christ's sake.
Right.
They come from America. Next thing you know, they're in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, surrounded by kids. Sure, it's only natural. It's annoying in some situations, but it's only natural. A website called popsci.com, they set out originally to analyze hockey slang, words like biscuit, celly, and all that stuff. But they ended up diving into an even bigger question: why do American players seem to take on Canadian-esque speech? They went as far as to record conversations with hockey players and analyze their vowel shifts and pronunciation.
It's an episode of their podcast, The Weirdest Thing I Learned This Week. You can listen to it, and they have some of the examples and stuff in there.
That's really funny.
That sounds cool.
Randy, did you have that buddy that moved out to California, and then when he came back to visit, he was all like, "Oh, dude," and all that, and it rubbed off on him?
I did have a college friend of mine who left school and went to school down south. And we ran into him like a year later at an event, actually, at a track meet. And he did have the southern, you could tell he had a little bit of the southern drawl.
Right.
But he was
that's
from Iowa.
frustrating.
So, I mean, you know.
And he was only there a year?
Yeah, I wasn't there very long.
It can happen quickly, Josh. You know that.
It can, I guess, yeah.
I had a girlfriend that the same thing. She was in Nashville for maybe a year or two, and then came back with just this thick Southern accent. I'm like, what are you? Just talk normal. What are you doing,
Right.
girl?
Sometimes it's forced.
She got more tips out of it, I think, though. She was a server, so.
We had a kid at our high school that had the same Southern drawl. And when we asked him, like, why do you talk like that? This was his reason, and it still makes me laugh to this day. We're like, why do you have that Southern drawl? Where did that come from? He goes, I'm from Hastings, man. I'm from Hastings. Like, people in Hastings have
Tennessee?
Southern drawls?
Yeah.
No, he's like, because I'm from Hastings. That's how we talk in Hastings.
Although your dialect changed quite a bit after you watched 2 episodes of Game of Thrones back in the day, Nick.
Oh, yeah. I got a kick out of that delivery.
You came in, it was like you were living in Westeros.
I couldn't help it. But you also,
I will say this, too. Now that I'm thinking about this, my granddaughter will sound like Peppa Pig once in a while.
Oh, that happens a lot.
She watches enough Peppa Pig. When she asks for mommy or daddy, she'll have like the British accent.
I've read
so
cute.
I suppose that happens a lot.
I've read articles on that. Peppa Pig. That's like the #1 show that they attribute the British accent in little kids.
Mommy, daddy.
Okay, that's adorable, though. I would
Come
love
on.
that.
We had a conversation on this a few years ago that, like Josh said, there was an article in USA Today or something that discussed this craze where little kids were adopting English accents because they couldn't stop watching Peppa Pig.
Yeah, also Bluey. They're starting to talk Australian, too.
Yeah.
I never knew that was Australian. Huh.
Yep.
Now, this is really funny in this article about American hockey players ending up sounding like fake Canadians. They say, and this is scientific studies done, they adopt features of Canadian English, but not quite enough to pass as an actual Canadian. Yeah. And they also suggested that Canadian hockey players are accused of sounding more Canadian than they're supposed to. I don't know what that means exactly. But Canadian hockey players are sounding too Canadian. Like they're trying too hard.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
I bet it's easier for the hockey players that from Minnesota or from the Midwest, because you even accuse me of sounding Canadian sometimes because of the way.
Well, that's just mispronunciation, I think.
Huh.
Do you really think that you say official because of some Canadian influence? I just think that. Do you have?
I thought that's to me that's the regular way to say it.
I just thought it was mispronunciation. That's all. Do you have Canadian family? Do you have Canadian family members?
No, I don't. Well, actually, I don't think so. I don't know. My families are very large.
Well, I mean, you probably got it from your folks.
I did go to Winnipeg one time.
Oh, that'll do it.
How long were you there?
You went to Winnipeg one time.
For like a week. And Marcus is right about that. That town sucks.
Did you go to Winnipeg for the same reason we went to Winnipeg in college? Because you could drink when you're 18?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long drive. What was wrong with drinking in your friggin' apartment, for Christ's sake?
It was a Valentine's Day weekend getaway vibe, too. It's fun
like
sitting at a bar.
Those people around here for years who bitched about how the bars weren't open on Sunday, right? So they drive to Wisconsin. Well, go buy a case of beer, for God's sake. And go buy a case of beer ahead of time. What are you driving all the way to? In this article, they even mentioned Madonna's infamous fake British accent.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty silly.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know how that stuff works. It's just influence and this and that. Baseball, Randy Shaver, Alex Bregman's going to go over and play for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Which is kind of fun to see this that Houston team kind of slowly.
Yeah, they're almost
fragment.
unrecognizable right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a few guys that you will recognize from a year ago, but man, their turnover on their roster is pretty significant now. So Boston's going to be a team to watch. I know they train in Fort Myers where the Twins train, so Twins fans will get a chance to catch that Boston lineup a few times just because they play each other so much in spring training. But, Boston's going to be decent.
I never enjoy myself when Boston is decent. When Boston,
can't wait for baseball.
I know you're excited. But do you agree when the Yankees and, the Red Sox are both having great years, it does kind of piss all over my summer?
Yeah, it does a little bit. I mean, I still hold out hope for teams like Detroit and teams like that, you can get excited about. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, the Dodgers are going to be the Dodgers again. I mean, baseball is so lopsided when it comes to salaries right now. It just truly is lopsided. So
it's ridiculous.
One more note here before we go. The University of Minnesota dance team has been picked to represent America at a world championship dance competition. Bank, 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 bank.
Good for them.
Bank, 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 bank. Everybody dance now.
Dude, I wish they danced like that.
What do you
Went out there and did like the robot or something.
Was I doing the robot?
That'd be sweet.
It kind of looked like the robot.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you definitely look like your arms needed to be oiled a little bit.
The most
old age, Josh.
Stiffness and old age. The most decorated program in Gopher athletics, 23 national championships.
Yeah, congratulations.
Unfortunately, last year they danced to Dream On by Aerosmith. Who's picking the songs over there?
Oh, I remember that video going viral. That was very impressive dancing.
Yeah, except for the Aerosmith, right?
Yeah, you just would watch it on mute.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, you totally get the same experience.
No, I mean, obviously, I've seen them many times at Gopher football games and whatnot. I mean, they're flipping outstanding. So they're going to go somewhere. I think it's in Vegas. They don't have to go too far. And represent America. I remember in high school, when I was in high school, we were all in love with the Trojets, the Wayzata Trojans. The ladies' dance team was called the Trojets. Maybe they still are. I don't know.
Was that when they were actually like dancers on the dance team?
Well, what do you mean? They don't dance on the dance team anymore?
When I was in high school and middle school, it was just girls that could like kick their leg. There was one girl. There's always one girl, and she was the captain, and she was the one that like actually danced competitively on the side. But then the rest were just kind of there to kick their legs around.
I don't know what they do nowadays, but we once, me and some bros, I thought this was just wrong. Me and some bros found out that the Trojets were competing out of town in Alexandria for a tournament, right? And so we drove up there and got a hotel room and watched the tournament. And then the following Monday, we got called into the principal's office.
Why?
Because you went and watched?
They thought it was shady, that we...
What?
Yeah, that we do...
You were just supporting a group.
That's what we said. That's what we said.
I'm sure you didn't have any, other motivation to be there, but
heckling them?
No, hell no. We were in full support. We were hammered. We're up in the stands going.
Oh my God.
There you go.
We were they didn't. No. Nobody knew we were hammered. We were just being loud. But they called us into the. What are you doing at the tournament? I don't know. Watching our friends compete. What the hell's the problem?
That is kind of weird.
It was a different time. They thought. Maybe I don't blame them, but. They thought it was shady that we would leave town and go all the way to Alexandria to watch the dance team. I said, what the hell did we do wrong?
It shows how much faith they have in their dance team. Why would you go watch them? Nobody wants to watch them.
I know this was a while ago, but when we were mentioning Shabuzi, I Googled him. And, his song, Tipsy, right? That's the big song?
Yeah, a bar song.
It's called Bar Song?
Yep.
If you get a chance and you're on a computer, I don't want to give away what happens, but Google it.
Oh, yeah.
Google Shabuzi. It's pretty funny.
The video for his song?
No, just Shabuzi. Just Google that. If you're at a computer and see what happens. It's pretty funny.
It's really good.
All right,
Are you doing it right now? Okay.
Do I spell it Shaboozey?
Correct.
And then I hit enter. Something about I'm not connected to the internet?
Yeah, our internet just went down.
Yeah,
Same thing happened
bad
to me.
timing.
Oh, did the internet go down?
Yeah.
It really did.
No, but that's hilarious if that's what happened.
So that's not the bit?
No, that's not the bit.
Okay.
I'm hardwired over here if it doesn't work. That's so funny.
We're talking about bad timing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Randy, can you look up Shabuzi for us? Or
No.
You can't?
No.
All right, come over here if you don't mind.
Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow, okay, Randy?
Sounds good.
Thanks.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, before we go, though, let me see what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's see if I can turn
What do I do? I look at Shabuzi.
Oh, you got to watch this.
All right,
Can you
I'm
see?
watching.
Okay.
Shabuzi.
Oh, wrong one. Do that.
It says.
See what it does?
Why is it doing that?
Because tipsy.
Tipsy.
It says that in the song.
Oh, so the screen
Yeah,
kind
the
of
screen
wobbles.
tips. That's pretty funny.
For Christ's sake.
Makes me sick.
That's cute.
I don't get it. I don't get us anymore. Guess who's coming up next? In studio, the Bloomington Police Department. We'll find out what's on their mind when we return on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
YouTube personality Benny Johnson has cracked the code on a new era of newsmaking.
It's got to be music to your ears. It's like the angels singing.
Listen, learn, and laugh.
I had a feeling you'd be in a very good mood. Oh, this is going to be a glorious day on Capitol Hill for you, sir.
It's a new cultural landscape.
So it's an important moment right now. Does this deserve another look?
The Benny Show.
Seize it in all of its glory.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
On 93X.
Oh, my damn, the police are here. Welcome back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We've made it up to 8:32. Setting in studio, Chris and Sam. They're both Bloomington cops. Welcome to the show, boys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. And from what Josh has been telling us the last couple of days, your department has become the latest internet sensation.
Yeah.
What's going on with the Bloomington PD? And is it Instagram?
Yep, Instagram. So yeah, we went a little viral. It sounds like Sam, my beautiful partner that's sitting next to me,
That is an excellent way to describe him. Ashley melted.
Yeah.
Tall and handsome.
Tall drink of water.
Wait a minute now. So you guys are partners? Are you, you work together all the time?
I work days, he works overnight.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe partners, meaning you ride along together all the time, like in the movies. Okay.
Oh, no, he couldn't put up with me.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Not at all.
I'd rather be by myself for sure.
Sorry to interrupt, Chris. You were saying about Sam.
Yeah, so we, Valentine's Day is coming up tomorrow, and we decided to put together a little video. Sam and I are part of a project at the police department we call the Orange Jumpsuit District, where we shoot some videos. A lot of them go on YouTube for traffic stop, stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to this, it's something fun that we wanted to do for the police department, kind of put it out there, and yeah, it went a little crazy on us.
Well, what do you think about this newfound fame?
I don't know. I'm not the beautiful one that's getting all these comments on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a first. I didn't expect it to go viral this much, but Chris had a good idea, and we rolled with it and took off. So,
and
nice.
your chief has gone viral many times.
Oh yeah,
very funny guy.
Chief Hodges is awesome.
Yeah, I would think so. Sometimes you hear from officers who may not be 100% fans of their chief, but any cop I've talked to in Bloomington, they love him, and I can see why. I mean, if you watch some of his videos, and he does not back down. He's not shy of going after. Like there was a video where a guy confiscated a motorcycle. Or you guys confiscated?
Yep.
Can you tell that story? That's pretty funny.
Yeah, this motorcycle last summer just kept coming up and down Old Shakopee. They'd drive past us or drive by a squad. The squad would try to stop it a couple times and it'd take off from us. And in the Orange Jumpsuit District, you do that stuff. We might not get you right away, but we'll get you eventually.
Right.
And I think it was a few weeks later, somebody saw it coming down Old Shakopee Road, flies by us, the cops. We go stop it, get into a little pursuit, and then we ended up finding it later on that day. And the great thing about it was, on the side of this guy's helmet was, these little hashtags that he had from cops that he had gotten pursuits with. And so, yeah.
So he's bragging in a sense?
Yeah, that person was bragging. It's like, well, we get the last laugh because now we got your bike.
And did the chief put a sign up that said, "Thanks for the bike" or something like that?
Yep.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Put a little sticker on it. Maybe that'll be our next motorcycle unit. Little speed bikes running around.
That's funny.
So this Valentine's Day video you were talking about, what's on the video? Josh, you have audio of it? I mean, what happens in this video?
No, I don't have. I mean, I could just play it off online if you want, but I don't have audio.
It is up on 93x.com if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, so it starts off with, like I said, Valentine's Day is coming up, and we can all probably think of an ex that, we've been in a relationship. They could probably use a day or so in, jail.
Sure.
Maybe eat a little Jimmy Dean sandwich, some juice. might be good for them, for the emotional damage that they caused in our lives.
Absolutely.
But, so that's kind of where the idea sprung up, and, we thought it'd be kind of a fun parody to say, hey, you got an ex-romantic partner that, think you want to do something special for them on Valentine's Day, well, get a hold of us. And then obviously Sam started this and did an awesome job, selling it. We showed off different scenes like our jail cell and our transport car.
Oh, beautiful.
And
yeah.
the outfit, the lovely orange outfit you guys were
high quality,
ready to provide. Yeah.
All the romantic spots in the city jail.
The jail cell is decorated with hearts.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
So folks can find this on YouTube. Is that correct? Oh no, Instagram. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is it? Which one is it, Josh?
Instagram for that one, right?
Instagram.
I put it as an Instagram or a YouTube short too. So if people will go follow us on YouTube, the Bloomington Police Department, you should be able to see there and some other awesome videos that we've done. There's some pursuit videos on there and public service announcements that the chief has put out.
Real deal, exciting pursuit videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that you're releasing that stuff. I mean, those can get addictive.
Oh yeah.
Watching some of those. And as Ashley said, she's posted some of these videos on 93x.com.
And speaking of Ashley, Sam does look quite a bit like your friggin' fiance, Ashley.
Is that just because they both have brown hair and facial hair?
No, I think they do look. No, you don't think that Sam looks like your fiance's better-looking older brother.
Right.
I see it.
If your fiance was a foot and a half taller, too.
I don't know how you don't see it.
And like more manly and stuff.
Yeah,
I think
more
the two of them could be friggin' brothers.
Like more of a guy I'd want to actually hang out with,
I don't know if you're in friggin' denial over there because you're ready to get married, but this dude could be your fiance's older, more successful, more interesting brother. Sam, are you a married guy?
I am not, no.
Young guy? You look like a young guy.
I am. I'm in my early 20s.
Early 20s?
Wow.
Everybody on Instagram is asking if you are single. Are you single?
I am talking to someone right now. But we're kind of in that talking
Have you been getting a little extra attention since the video came out?
There has been a lot of comments.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
I got a lot of stuff sent to me and a lot of comments, and it's just, yeah.
That's funny.
Every day.
A lot of women are talking about how they want to commit a crime now.
Let's go to Bloomington, commit a felony.
We've apparently had women calling our dispatch, be like, "Hey, so Officer Davern, what's up with him?" It's like, what, you're calling the police department? You're calling 911 to ask if Officer Davern's available?
Are you seriously? They're really calling dispatch?
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's when you know that you made it big.
That's hilarious / concerning at the same time.
You and you're doable too, Chris. You are. Absolutely.
You know what? I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's not. You just got to pair up with somebody not so gorgeous.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my wife is super pretty, so I outkicked my coverage on that one. For sure.
You guys all knew when you put Sam on the internet that it was going to turn into a gong show. Didn't you? Yeah.
I figured there was a reason he was texting me. This video.
I enjoy the YouTube videos, the ticket or not ticket, or what do you call it?
Yeah, ticket or no ticket.
Ticket or no ticket. Okay.
Yeah, explain that one. I watched one of those last night. I thought it was pretty cool too.
Yeah, so that idea came up with, we we take people on ride-alongs. One of the hardest things in law enforcement, or one of the many harder things in law enforcement, is deciding whether or not we give somebody a ticket. Like, it's not an easy decision each day. Maybe it's easy for troopers, but for local.
Here we go.
There it is.
I actually have a story on that.
Maybe it's easy for troopers, he says. Yeah.
But, it's a decision that, I know most cops don't take lightly. It's not an easy decision. So we kind of came into this idea with, show off some traffic stops that we do and let the public decide, like, hey, would you give them a ticket or would you give them a warning?
Right.
So, like, one of the videos that we posted was a lady that rolled through a stop sign. She ended up having a 11-week-old baby with her in the back seat, and she's like, I'm heading to church, and I've got a lot going on. The baby's crying in the back, and so I, did it. And I posted the video. I'm like, what do you guys think? Should she get a ticket for rolling through the stop sign? We showed the video, everything that I saw. You can see her doing it. What do you think? And so it created a lot of good discussions. I mean, even within the department or family members of what we should do, right? Or what do you think we should do? I think the community all decided, or majority decided, we should give her a ticket. And unfortunately, you'll learn about me. I'm kind of soft. And, I give people the benefit of the doubt. For me, it's kind of a reason before law kind of thing. So, people have hard days. So for me, I don't get anything if I give somebody a ticket.
Right.
I know it's part of our job. It's part of our role, something that we have to do sometimes. But for that video at least, she ended up getting a warning.
So when you revealed, later on, she did not get a ticket.
Correct.
So it's funny you say that about troopers. I was on a ride along with a buddy of mine who's a trooper, and he would ask me, all right, what should we do? Should we give him a ticket? And I said no every time. I said no so many times he yelled at me out of anger. He was furious, and he's like, well, what are we doing out here then?
Yeah,
What's
right?
the point? But just like you, I thought like there was one person, she was late for work. She was on, her car wasn't working. She had like 7 tickets already. And that's the last thing she needed. And that's when he yelled at me.
You're different than me, Josh. I would be like, yeah, give them all tickets. Let's go.
We got a text message here from a female listener who lives in Bloomington. And, Sam, she wants you to know that she drives a maroon Nissan Altima. And you can pull her over any damn time.
There we go.
Chris,
is what she said.
She's ready for you.
Right.
Yeah. You were telling me and Nick off air about an interesting excuse you heard from someone who went through red light.
Yeah, so I had one the other day that she goes to the red light, blatantly obvious, and I pull her over, and I'm like, the reason I stopped you is for going through the stoplight, and she's like, well, my OnStar has this wireless signal that likes to trip the stoplights, so they're always red when I go through them. I don't think that's how that works. I was like, we should probably tow your car. It's not safe, She's like, yeah, I always race the yellows. I'm like, you're not supposed to race the yellows.
What?
Yellows for you to slow down before the intersection. So yeah, we hear stuff all the time.
And do you believe that she legitimately thought that was the case?
100%.
That's hilarious.
This lady 100% believes that there's some wireless thing in her car. And she's like, I read it on the internet. I'm like,
oh, no.
Oh, everything that you read on the internet's true.
I love it.
Yeah.
I friggin' love it.
I'm going to start using that, but I don't have OnStar.
Yeah.
I'm going to subscribe just for that. Yeah. That's funny.
Another listener has texted in. We're talking with Chris and Sam from the Bloomington Police Department. Check them out on Instagram. They got a fun Valentine's Day video. Check them out. Ticket or no ticket is the other online thing you guys got going, and everyone's been talking about you. So here's a listener that says, can you tell the cops to quit hiding in the apartment parking lot at Old Shakopee Road and Penn Avenue? Stop pinching us for speeding. We're on to you.
If you were on to us, you wouldn't see us. Or you wouldn't get stopped by us. We'd still be doing something right.
He closes out his text by saying, just kidding. Thanks for what you do.
We're on to you.
We're on to you.
Not everybody. Not everybody.
The last time I was pulled over, it was in Bloomington. The year was 1999. That's like, I don't want to jinx myself, but that's the last time.
Was that really the last time you got pulled over?
Yeah.
You and I are both very reasonable behind the wheel. I think that comes with age. We hover right around that damn speed limit. We don't care who's in a hurry. What was the story of you getting pulled over in 99, for Christ's sake?
At the time, I lived in Shakopee, and I just got into Bloomington and on 169, and I was going I don't remember what I was going, to be honest. It was on the way to work. I wasn't paying too much attention, and I got pulled over. Luckily, he didn't give me a ticket.
Man.
But that's the last time I was ever pulled over.
Tell them about when you were going 175 through St. Peter or whatever the hell that was.
Oh, man. So, and I'm sure you guys have heard this excuse. The girl I was dating at the time, she had kind of a sportier car, and I wasn't used to it. And it was 3-something in the morning. We're going to training camp. Me and Nick. We're broadcasting from training camp, and we're just talking.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Nick goes, dude, you're going 130. Yeah. And I had no idea. Again, 169. No clue. I had no clue. So I slowed down, and we go through St. Peter, and this cop pulled us over, and he could not have been nicer.
He was wonderful.
And he's like, hey, I know how fast you were going. I tried to have you see me behind you, thinking you'd slow down.
We were so busy jaw-jacking, we never noticed the guy. Yeah.
Never paid attention at all. And he ended up giving, but I think he wrote me for going like 5 over. He saved my ass. Oh. And but I really, truthfully, I wouldn't go that fast. I had no idea.
Must have been a good conversation. You're just that excited. Your palms are sweating.
We were having a great conversation. The two of us were just becoming friends, I think, at the time. But that cop was so nice, and I believe to this day that he was just really thankful we weren't a couple of drunk derelicts, because it was 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night or something. So I think he was expecting the worst.
Yeah, it could be.
And the fact that... I had a six-pack between my feet, but I only had 2 or 3. No, we were well-behaved, so I think he was... Look, we got to take a break. We got Chris and Sam in here from the Bloomington Police Department. More jaw-jacking with the boys when we come back.
Just be mindful, move out of their way, and just move on.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Great.
Oh, no.
Right before we went live, I swallowed some of this Gatorade down the wrong pipe ski. And we got company and everything. I'm embarrassing us. We're chatting with a couple of officers from the Bloomington Police Department here on the Half-Assed Morning Show, Sam and Chris. Check out the fun video they put together for Valentine's Day on Instagram. And if you want to play a little game of ticket or no ticket with the Bloomington cops, check that out on YouTube. We appreciate you boys swinging by.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Of course, we do appreciate what you do. A couple questions have come in from listeners, if you don't mind fielding a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
What the hell does this say? Oh, well, Chris, you were mentioning earlier that you might be a little bit SAWFT soft when it comes to handing out tickets. You, what did you say? It's reason over law?
For me, sometimes it's reason before law.
Reason before law. You like to give folks a break, and that's wonderful to hear. Here's a listener who spent some time working in the Forest Service. Did either of you entertain an idea of going into the DNR or anything like that?
Nope, not me.
I can't say I did either, no.
Okay. City guys, city kids, both of you?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not a big woods guy. A lot of nature stuff out there. You got to know all the fish sizes and stuff.
I suppose, yeah.
You don't like ticks?
Permits and fish regulations and things like that. Josh, you and Sam would get along fine. Also, Josh is an avid indoorsman.
Yeah, I am one of the more avid indoorsmen you'll ever meet, for sure.
Well, here's a guy in our listening audience who worked with the Forest Service, and he said, I wrote 1 ticket for my entire tenure. I know most people were just out there to enjoy the forest, weren't trying to break the law. It made my job much more, he said, I made my job much more about education than anything. So he says it's just nice to know that there are cops out there like you. Yeah.
I'd be the same way, Chris. I don't think I'd hand out many tickets.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, you look at a speeding ticket, 10 over is probably about $120 $20. It's like I tell people, I'm like, hey, I'm giving you a break here. I'm assuming you don't want to pay $120 for a piece of paper that tells you you're going too fast. So let's figure it out moving forward, And there comes a lot. I mean, I've gotten a ticket, back in my youth, and go back and forth whether or not that educated me more or, the times I've been stopped and gotten a warning. So.
And I'm sure, some people are good at talking themselves into tickets, where maybe they
100%.
wouldn't have got one if they just could chill out a little bit.
Talking yourself into it. Yeah, absolutely.
I could have used you once or twice.
Well, why can't you just keep your attitude in check?
I didn't talk myself into a ticket. Actually, I'd love to know if you would have given me a ticket. It was the day before I was supposed to get married, and it was like
giving you a
4:30. It was like 4:30 in the morning. I was on my way to work, and I was going 10 over. And I was so nice and polite, and I don't think he really believed that I was on my way to work, to be honest. Maybe he thought I was like out drinking the night before or something like that. But
you didn't look like you were employed.
I guess it's weird to be out at that time in the morning.
Sure.
And yeah, he gave me a ticket. I was like, dude, come on, I get married in like 12 hours.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, obviously everybody sees things from a different lens, so I wouldn't have, but that's just me.
Sure. Well, you're Ashley. This guy must have heard the rumors about your driving.
I think so, because there are times I think you shouldn't have a license.
Just a dangerous driver.
Dana too. Dana is so quick. And he's mentioned it before. It's one fluid motion. By the time he opens his car door, he's in the parking lot or the street somehow.
Yeah, I'm already out of the parking lot of the building.
It's odd.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Ashley,
gotten much better, much better.
Okay, I bet it hasn't been that long, though. I have to ask you, and be honest, because there's law enforcement here. You have to be honest. When's the last time you drove with your left leg up on the dashboard?
Oh, I've never done that.
Yes, you have.
I don't know how people do that.
With your foot sticking out the window and you're strumming a guitar.
that typical girl pose that you like to
I
do?
couldn't imagine doing that. Like, could you imagine if you got into an accident?
Exactly
and
what
your
I
leg just
think
went
of.
right behind your head.
Yup.
And I'm not that flexible.
What I've noticed via text here, so other departments have been checking in, right? And usually when we have the troopers on, who we love, I mean, we've had some real good luck with the troopers in the past. They get a lot of crap from other departments. You guys haven't gotten any yet. It's a little disappointing. I was hoping for a little rivalry, but everybody's been very polite.
Yeah, it's all in fun. I mean, I love troopers. My uncle was a trooper for the State Patrol for many, many years. So I love the sisters and brothers out there in maroon and gold. But we still got poke them a little bit. It's like firefighters. They're probably still sleeping, so they won't hear this. Or making their breakfast.
I love it.
Hilarious. That's great stuff. What did this guy say? Now, this came off funny to me. I imagine he's being sarcastic, but I can't be sure. Skateboard Pete Jesus texted in to say, I got beef with the police. Y'all arrested me and then let me slip and fall on the ice. That sounds hilarious
Well,
to
if
me.
you didn't get arrested, you wouldn't have slipped and fell on the ice.
That's right.
There you
That's
go.
right. They
Don't
let
break the
me
laws,
slip
man.
and fall on the ice, he says.
When we were talking about you guys coming in today, a couple days ago, Nick was mentioning that he's been watching a lot of these DUI arrest videos.
Yeah,
on
I had to
YouTube.
stop.
Do you guys have any pretty good stories about something like that?
I don't know if I got it off the top of my head. I mean, normally the same thing. It's a lot of excuses or a lot of yelling. I didn't do this. I'm not drunk. And kind of the second they start to sober up a little bit, it's all a change game.
Or they urinate themselves in the back of your car.
Have you pulled over like a Tinkerbell or something like that around Halloween or an elf around Christmas?
No, I haven't had anybody in costume, but I haven't worked nights in a long time, so.
I think I probably had someone in costume recently for Halloween. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it's a lot of random stuff.
I had to stop watching the videos because I could not believe the level these grown people would go to. They would turn into 5-year-olds. Just this kicking and screaming and can I call my dad? And you're 30 years old. What do you mean? No, you can't call your dad. It just, Mom. I have no idea how you guys do a lot of what you do, but specifically dealing with drunks. We have these conversations periodically on the show. Cops, bartenders, people like that. How in the hell do you deal with those folks without coming completely uncorked? So I had to put a lid on my DWI video watching because I'm sitting at home. I'm on my couch by myself, furious, watching these things happen. A lot of patience
Yeah, right.
You men and women show a lot of patience.
A texter here wants to know if you've ever accidentally left your body cam on at the urinal.
Oh, it's gotten close.
You gotten close?
Definitely gotten close.
Yeah, I know of a few people that's happened to, and you have to go in and let the admin know, like, hey, this video, it's not evidence. Right. You can get rid of that. That'd be appreciated.
Maybe better the urinal than the stall.
It's only evidence that I have hydrated myself. Is all right. Well, we got to get going. But again, thanks very much, Chris. Thank you, Sam. And folks should check out what they got going over there at the Bloomington Police Department on Instagram and on YouTube.
And again, you can see those links on 93x.com.
Links on 93x.
Thanks for coming in, boys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Before we go, shout out to St. Francis High School. Their dance team is headed to state tomorrow. Sending our best to Pull Tab Voyer Shiza. She had to put her dog Penny to rest 5 weeks ago today. Sad day. Happy birthday to one hell of a metalhead daughter, Addie, turning 15 from mom and dad, Concrete Cowboy Jesus. Happy early 38th to Army Mechanic Jesus, taking his birthday off tomorrow to Smoke Meat Salt Day for his party. Happy birthday to Tammy from Ski-Doo 600 Jesus. And good news for South Metro lawbreakers. Bloomington, they're down 2 cops right now. So take your chances. Hope you'll join us again tomorrow.
93X.
Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us? We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com.